Yes, good afternoon, viewers. We're live streaming here from the Tweed Heads Bowls Club down on the border of New South Wales and Queensland, and we're about to kick off with the New South Wales versus Queensland interstate games. We have the Open Men's, of course, we have the Open Ladies, and we've got the Under 25s games. Obviously we're going to be able to cover every rink, but we'll be doing our best to keep you up to date with scores, certainly the masterboard. Just if you've got the opportunity, we have shared this with several hundred people, maybe even thousands of people. We'd obviously like you to be doing the same. Guest commentators today, we're going to give you a list of commentators. I won't give you them all straight away. I just want to make sure that we've got who we think we've got. But to my left here, we've got Michael Keegan. Do you want to say hello there, Michael?
Good morning and afternoon, visitors and viewers. We've got a beautiful day down here. It's a little bit windy with Cyclone Omar hanging around, but it's going to be an interesting match here. The guys have all been out on the green having a quick little practice before this match started. We're underway on the very first end, so as we can see out there, even under these very blustery conditions, there's some good bowls still being played, so looks like we're in for a real treat.
What we'll attempt to do here is give you the matchups. We'll go with the guys first. For the first test, which obviously kicks off 2 o'clock, just to keep you in the picture there, second and third test are tomorrow, starting, I think it's 8:30, yeah, 8:30 tomorrow, and the second one will start at 1 o'clock, and these are all Queensland times. Okay, the New South Wales team of Maddie Miles, Nathan Dawson, Aaron Tees and Aaron Wilson will be taking on Maddie Lucas, Anthony Keepy, Sean Baker and Aaron Sheriff. Ben Twist, New South Wales, with Carl Healy. Where am I? All right. Just a glitch there, mate. I'll come back to you on that one. We've got Jesse Nerona, Maddie Lewis, and they're taking on Nathan Rice, Sean Ingham, Jamie Anderson, who's making his return to state bowls. Hasn't been in the stateside, we don't know why, but since 2012. Jaden Christie, and the New South Wales forward to take on Kurt Brown will be Ray Pearce, David Ferguson, Corey Wedlock and Billy Johnson. And the Queensland team is Kurt Brown with the seasoned Brett Wilkie, Stephen Tong making his making his debut for Queensland, and Jay Dorr, obviously he is the current state singles champion and also making his debut for Queensland as well. Pretty sure we've got another debut star there, but that's probably in the under 25s, and I'll come back to you on that one. All right, we'll get some coverage on the game. The current champions are New South Wales, but I'm pretty sure Queensland are going to have a lot to say about that. I will give you a bit of a rundown as we go throughout the day. We won't overfeed you with too many stats and facts, but it is quite interesting. Since the early 60s, playing for the Wall Curry Shield, I think you'll find that Queensland are marginally in front there. Both sides have had dominance throughout that time, and I'll give you some of those stats and facts later on. All right, and Michael will give us quite a bit of feedback there on the ladies' side, obviously being the worst half of the Julie Keegan setup, and I believe we're going to get a bit of dirt on some of the players as well. I say that with tongue in cheek.
Yes, no, well, some of the stuff isn't fit for air, so we'll keep that to one side there, Alan. Maybe I'll think of a couple of little bits that we can broadcast, but the girls have certainly come out of the blocks well here, Queensland against New South Wales, and I'll just give you a quick rundown so you know who's playing who here. But on rink 1, we've got the team of Lindsay Clark, Julie Keegan, my beloved, Georgia White and Jessie Cattell, and they've been matched up against a formidable side of Kelsey Cottrell who is skipping out of St John's Park with her fellow teammate Dawn Heyman, and Ann Johns, former Australian international as well. So, and they've got Natalie Nerona up front. So everybody would know those 4 names and know that that is going to be a cracker of a match. We go over to rink 2. We're looking at Karen Murphy matched up against Bolivia. So Karen Murphy's team, she has a lot of the Cabramatta girls in there, so they all know each other's game. So Karen Murphy with the player of Ellen Ryan, who has won so many events at the Australian Open. She's really making it her own these days. Kate Walker from Tarrant Point and Janie Lee Worsnop from Cabramatta as well. They're playing Bolivia, Milrick, Pam LaFantini, Deanne Robinson, and her Bolivia's sister, twin sister, that's Cassandra Milrick. So that makes up that side. And we're left with the rink 3, which is the hit up between Natasha Scott and Chloe Stewart, 2 of the young guns in the Australian sides. They're both Australian players. So Natasha's got with her the Beth Quinlan, who's been playing for New South Wales now for, geez, I'd hate to count how long Beth's been playing for New South Wales. She's been a stalwart for them and a very solid third for Natasha there. She's also from St John's Park, so it's very well represented with about 6 players out of the ladies' side. Jovina Dells is 2, and Brianna Smith is leading that up, also from St John's Park. If we go across to the Chloe Stewart rink, they've put a lot of Tweed Heads players in there, so they'll be getting a lot of support today. Chloe Stewart is with Claire Turley, formerly a New South Wales player. Emma Spicer from Niagara. Emma's just come back into the Queensland side and is looking to impress selectors for further representation as we look forward to the Australian sides. And Jessica, can you pronounce Jessie's last name? You've left me with a cracker there.
Well,
I always call her
Jessica. Pass that on to you.
I always say Jessica Alphabet, but that's not correct.
It's not Smith.
It's not Smith. It's Sarah Marby or something along those lines. But look, the girls are out there and they're really putting it on. And I've looked a quick glance across at the men's heads here. There's been a few drives already played early in the match. There's been an end killed, so everything's starting to take shape down here on the beautiful Tweed Heads.
All right, the under 25 sides. I'll go with the men on that one, and I'll leave Michael with the tricky names of the females. New South Wales under 25s. We have, and I'll go the matchups. We've got Nick Gosley from Queensland with, where am I? Yep. Nick Gosley, Braden Lees, Brendan Wilson and Tyler Pettigrew. Tyler's making his debut, I do believe. I'm pretty sure he played in the under 18s. Anyway, he's making his debut there. And they will be taking on Jay Bruce. Now then, I need some... Jay Bruce from Merimbula, Greg Jeans from Northmead, Dylan Riley from Maitland City, and Kyle Hansen from Tarrant Point. This is the second rink. We've got the New South Wales side. Jack Lewis, Zach Robertson, Callum Murray and Bo Predall, and they're taking on Jacob Nelson, Colin Litfin, Del McWhinney and Jesse Turnbull. And that will also be a 3-test series, and there is talk about them maybe even playing a second test tonight. Unlike the seniors, they'll be sticking to the normal program. We'll keep you posted on that.
handing over to me, are you, Alan?
Yep, some more
So
tricky names for you.
you've given me the tricky names of the young girls.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for that. I do know some of the young ladies that are playing out there, but not as familiar with them as I am the senior squad for obvious reasons. Just watching a bowl coming in here at the moment. Yep, on rink 1. It was a very Kelsey Cottrell just having a drive, trying to dislodge a couple of shots that were from the Queensland side. She seems to have got those out, so it's really going to come down to a measure for 3 for New South Wales. So a pretty good shot of that of Kelsey's. Okay, the under 25 ladies. We've got the match sharps. Just waiting for the sheet to be passed over. In the ladies representing Queensland, we've got, I'll give you also their clubs. In the women, we've got from Natasha Jones, skipping Jessica Prolan from Bribey Island, Jacinda Weir from Broadbeach, and Shavana Wilson from Kawana. For Lauren Carpenter from Tweed Heads, we have Isabel Lawson playing 3 from Niagara, Julia Allen Bess from North Toowoomba, and Talia Kameri from Helensvale. Also for Queensland, we've got a couple of officials that are doing tremendous jobs, and a former Queensland player has been Sue McKenzie as a manager for the A's, and Christina Pavlov is also involved in supporting the under 25s and keeping the teams in their control. For New South Wales, you'll see that there's a number of new clubs that are coming into there, but it's still dominated by the Cabramatters and the Engadines. And those sides are Jess Hogan from Cabramatta playing Jodie Marshall III from Engadine, Ashley Davis from Cabramatta, and Erin Strawbridge from Cabramatta. Kate Matthews from Raymond Terrace with 3, Sam Nerona from Engadine. We've got Louise Grenham from Tarrant Point and Mia Hodson from Cabramatta. So we continually see that the top sides out of New South Wales are coming out of 3 and 4 clubs, and that is generally in the under 25s is because they follow around the top side, they learn from those people, and they keep filtering through the sides. One way to learn: play with good players.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that for a long time, Michael, but yeah, nobody's good enough to carry me. On some of the under 25s on the ladies' side, I was chatting with the selectors there before. Isabella Lawson, who plays out of Niagara, has been playing in the under 18s, and she's now making a debut for the under 25s, of which we've got 3 debutantes. Siobhan Wilson, who's playing out of Kawana, she played in the under 18s and has now progressed to the under 25s. And out of Bribey, Jess Parolin.
Yeah.
And I think I've pronounced that name right. Good luck to those 3, and I don't have any details on any debutants from New South Wales under 25s, but maybe throughout the day. Or maybe if you're listening, if you're on our live stream, Mum and Dad, maybe you can call in there and wish your debutants well. If you'd like to share this, just hit the share button. Any comments, any questions you've got, you want to direct them in this direction, we'd be happy to try and answer your questions.
Yeah, I see Natasha Jones is back playing in the under 25, so she's skipping that side. So she's taking a lot of experience down there for the other girls. She's played a number of games up in the top side, and while we have these test series, the selectors obviously like to mix it up a little bit. So Natasha's gone down there to share some of that experience and help a couple of those debutantes along that Alan has mentioned. So it's great to see that sort of thing happening, that the knowledge is being passed down as well as forward.
Yep, that's what this game's all about, learning from the experienced. And you've been around a couple of years, Michael. I think this is my 50th year of attempting to get close to the jack. Still haven't got there yet, mate, but yeah, how long have you been in the game?
I started November 2000. Both Julie and I both started in November 2000. Obviously, I stayed at work and she went and played bowls, but
So it goes.
that's no excuse for my lack of skill. It's just she just has a lot of skill, and I have the nous to help pay the track along and allow her to play the game and achieve the levels that she has. So it's been a privilege to be able to do that as well.
And she's done plenty of that, mate. You'd be able to tell us. I can only guess at how many state and Australian titles Julie has won, and how many. I know you can't tell me how many games she's played state-wise, because she's played for a couple of different states and been in successful championship sides. But for Australia, you got a number on that?
Actually, we don't know exactly what the number is. It's something that we just didn't start counting, and there's so many games that she played, internationals that she played, that we hadn't had clarified whether she was playing Australian colours, were they tests or not. We've really only just started counting them now, but as far as we can see, it's somewhere in the number of 120 to 150 games, somewhere along that line, and she was just proud every time she put on the green and gold, as you would be. She loved representing, and I was just thinking to myself now, the five that won the world title back in 2007, over in New Zealand, they're all currently still out there playing bowls. All five of them are still on the field. Both Julie and Claire are playing for Queensland now, and Lindsay. So three of the five that are out there playing for Queensland, and the other two, Kelsey and Karen, are playing for New South Wales. So it just goes to show you can have a great longevity in this game if you put your nose to the green and practice and listen and learn. This can be a great game. Can take you internationally, make a lot of great friends. And achieve a lot of things that you probably can't do in a lot of other sports as you do head towards those tender years.
Actually, thinking about the stats and facts there, if you look at tennis, you look at cricket, you look at golf, their statisticians are so far on the ball. They can pull from anywhere who's done what, where and when. Maybe that's somewhere where we're lacking a little bit, and I'm not having a go at any of our stats around the country or statisticians. Maybe that's something that we should be working on, because our history is what it's all about. I mean,
absolutely. I honestly believe you should be able to bring up a player's name and say, "Oh, Alan Law, what's he done?" Put it into a database, and suddenly out it comes. But we can't even do that for a Karen Murphy or a Natasha Scott or a Nathan Rice. Like the amount of stuff Nathan has won over the years.
I have a postage stamp for mine. It's written on the postage stamp, my achievement.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've got that. Actually, it might be 2 stamps, but it is 50 years.
I was going to say 2 stamps for sure, because mine's on the back of that stamp.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is. Okay, we do have YouTube, Google, our own local area where we can find out who's done what and where and when. And I'm working on a bowls museum, as a lot of our listeners may know, and all those stats and facts, they're not easy to get hold of, but that's something I'm working on a continual basis. Maybe there's someone out there who would like to contact me and just say, look, I can help you in that area. I know Sammy Clough is a great collector of stats and facts, and maybe I just got to get together with him, and I'm sure there's a few other people around the country. We can chat about that off air. All right, back to the game, and can you see the masterboard from where you are, Michael?
The masterboard on the ladies, they've played 9 ends. New South Wales has currently got a 5-shot lead. New South Wales holding 11-6 against Queensland. So after 9 ends, it's obviously been very close on all rinks.
All right, the masterboard on the men's, I can make it out from here. After 8 ends, it's Queensland 7, New South Wales 6. Obviously, we're in the very early stages, and here's an opportune moment. An old friend of mine, I say old, I only found out that this old friend of mine is 77 years young today. I always thought he was in his mid-50s, but that's probably more what he's told me in the past, and I've only just found out the truth. Welcome, Bryce Stewart.
Thank you.
Good to see you, mate. If I can get you to come closer to the microphone there.
Yeah, don't be shy, Bryce.
Don't be shy. Have you ever known that? I'll give you a bit of a rundown on Bryce Stewart. I think I played against Bryce in early 80s. He has been around for a considerable amount of time. I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown. Most of you will know Bryce from down in Victoria, but several of the New South Wales supporters, bowlers will know him from New South Wales. He's now living in Queensland, so we call him Tripod now because he's got a foot in 3 camps. He's giving me a funny look.
Be careful. Be very careful, Alan.
Yeah, there is a line there, isn't there? Okay, well, Bryce played for Australia. I don't think he could remember how many times, but I know he played 365 state games, and he played for 18 years straight. He was obviously very well in with the selectors down there because they weren't going to drop him no matter what. Now, here's a man who's achieved so much over many years. He's been to 2 Commonwealth Games, actually won silver in the Australia Games in the 4s, but won every discipline in state, certainly in Victoria, including the singles, 4s, pairs, triples, and champion of champions. Now, in New South Wales, had you gone past it by the time you got there, or did you manage to pick up a chook or two there, mate?
I made the over 60 stateside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an achievement. First one, yeah, and then I become a selector, so I couldn't play anymore. So from that point of time, I was 12 years a selector of the stateside in New South Wales.
And do you not remember how many series they won over your expertise in that 12 years?
Actually, we won about three or 4.
Right.
Yeah.
So you failed at that as well?
We actually won one here.
Yeah?
3 or 4 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got those stats there, so if you're exaggerating on the 3, I'll be able to find you out.
3, it'll be 3.
3,
I
okay.
think was one. Yeah, around, yeah.
So they got rid of you after that?
Around chicken schnitzels.
No, I moved.
All right.
I moved up here.
So-
Yeah, family reasons.
Yeah, well, we're more than happy to have you up here, and fortunately I get to see you just about every other week.
Yep.
We haven't had a game together yet, but we keep threatening each other. As one of us has got some form, we can carry the other, and we'll get together and do that. So what's your prediction here? Let's go with the men's seniors. You've had a lot of experience with these guys.
I think who's going to adapt to the wind and the conditions quicker, and at this point of time, looks like Queensland are sort of the score is. Where's the score?
It's 9-8 to New South Wales.
There's nothing in it, but sitting down behind the rink watching the bowls come down, and they're pretty erratic. It's not the ability of the bowlers, it's the wind. Very difficult conditions. May get worse.
I'm damn sure it will. If it's got anything to do with the cyclone that's
Tomorrow
about to come.
Could be anything tomorrow. Yeah, but today, first test, and they're trying to find out. I just told one of the players down there that that's the narrow side and that's the wide side.
And he thanked you for that
Thanks
information.
very much for that information. Yeah.
Excellent. And that's obviously why you was a coach and a selector. You did coach the Australian side for a while. How did that go, mate? A bit better than your New South Wales one, I hope.
No, we went to India, mate.
No chicken schnitzels over there, mate. They were just veggie burgers, remember?
Actually went there twice.
Loved
it's a
it.
place that you wouldn't want to go there and have a holiday.
Okay.
I don't think the Indian tourism
It wasn't
people will ever sponsor us after that comment. Thank you very much for that. We were just approaching them inside.
Mate, it was something else. It was
The greens were fantastic, I
At one
heard.
stage, one of the rinks collapsed. It was built over a tip.
Yeah.
And one of the rinks collapsed, a big hole came, so that was out of it. And every morning they'd vacuum it with a house vacuum cleaner. You know, it was about 18 inches wide, and there was 5 rinks,
Yeah,
I think,
5 rinks,
greens.
yeah. 5 greens, that's right.
And you'd play at night at 11 o'clock at night, and there'd be these big birds about like eagles.
Oh, they were massive, weren't they?
They'd scoop
the
down in
bugs.
between 2 players and grab these bugs. That the bugs were about 2 or 3 inches big, long, and if they hit you on the head, they nearly knock you over. There were squirrels running up and down the green, but other than that, it was good. Yeah.
What about the show rink that if you played on your backhand, if you could get to the line about 2 metres out from the jack, it just followed the line.
Yeah.
So whoever got first, the lead got down there first. You crossed the line. You never drew to the jack. You crossed across the line, and then it just followed straight down the line.
So it's a bit
Straight
like
to the
cran
jack.
green bowls.
Yeah.
It was funny, like one particular day they put up a TV screen, a massive TV screen, would have cost them $30,000-$40,000, massive, right on the edge of the bowling green, and every now and then the wind would blow something like you've never seen before, and lucky people were walking in front of it and the wind blew it over onto the green. The wind blew it onto the green and they're lucky they weren't crushed. Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, so that was an experience there, it really was, yeah.
And is that the only time you went overseas with the Australian squad?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to the Commonwealth Games. And,
that was playing,
yeah,
though, yeah.
Yeah, playing, yeah. Yep. So after that, they changed the whole system up with new coaches and assistant coaches and all that sort of stuff, and our group missed out, so yeah, that was the end of it. I was with Rex Johnson. It's a pity that happened, but that's how it goes, yeah.
So you missed out on the big money.
Oh, mate, yeah, I did. Missed out on the big money. What?
It was always a bowl of water and a schnitzel. That was about it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about it.
I remember we went to a Indian restaurant, and we went by bus, and there was armed guards at the front and the back and following us behind and some in front, and in this like a market thing, and they pulled up, and the army got out and moved everybody away so we could get in, and they went in before us and told everybody to get out, so they cleared the whole place for us to go in. So that's what it was like. It was, yeah, something else.
You felt important.
Well,
At that point in time I was, yeah.
I think one of the most interesting things about the Commonwealth Games, because I took the supporters crew over, but we're sitting at home and the Australian team left, so we're waiting on watching everyone arrive, and the very first group, because there was a lot of players at that time not going to India because of the security concern. There was, athletes saying they weren't going to go. So the first athletes to arrive, the trial group that obviously Australia thought they could do without, were the lawn bowlers.
Yeah, they sent the lawn bowlers.
They sent the lawn bowlers in first.
Yeah, test the water.
Yeah. So all the security over them with guns and everything else.
Oh yeah. It was.
But about 3 days later, when they realised no one was going to get shot, they sent in the swimmers.
That's true.
Yeah, it is
and
true.
There was along the road where the bus went, there was bunkers with beach umbrellas up and blokes sitting in the bunkers with machine guns. Mate, it was something else.
A little bit different to Broadbeach.
So while you're playing your social bowls, folks, around the country this week, just have a think about what Bryce and Michael's have been telling you there. Yeah, it's not something you would expect in lawn bowls. We've come a long way in bowls. Since the early 80s, I think professionalism was introduced in the early 80s. Whilst it was introduced, it wasn't a great lot of money, but quite quickly there's some huge money in bowls now, isn't there?
Yes, yeah.
We were born a bit too soon, weren't we?
Yeah, I think the older days where everybody had the same set of bowls and did the same thing, that was more of a contest. Now that they've changed to the tighter line, those tight bowls have made the better bowlers worse and the worse bowlers better.
That's
you can
one way of putting
understand
it.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I sure can.
And
Definitely evened it
it's
out.
changed the game.
Yep.
It's changed the game, yeah. I'd like to see some of these people play with the old bowls and see how they get on, particularly in this wind. And we all played with them, so we know what it's like.
Drawing around the Cape.
Yeah,
The old
it's-
classic twos and the Dunlops.
Yeah, and the young fellas of today, it's a bit easier for them with the bowls they use. Yeah, they can play these type of shots.
But they play them very well.
They do, yeah. It's a different game. Yeah, vastly different. There's no such thing as a yard of weight. It's either draw or you drive.
Just give you a quick update, viewers. Currently the ladies, top side, we had 12 ends for 12 all, so that's pretty simple. Lindsay Armitage against Kelsey Cottrell's team is 7-5. The team of Karen Murphy against Bolivia. Karen's currently got a lead happening there, so she's jumped out of the gate at 7-0 up. But to counteract that, on the opposite rink, Natasha's one is just Chloe Stewart 5. So that evens us up a little bit. As we see New South Wales driving on rink 1, they're down about 3 shots and they've just got rid of 2 of them. The men, they're just flipping the board over now. The men are a little bit further in front. It looks like they're on 13 ends, but New South Wales has grabbed a little bit of a lead of 15-8. So they're starting to progress forward a little bit. So New South Wales is they're just flicking the board over again. So they've picked up another shot. So it's now 16-8 on 15 ends. Sorry, we can't give you the results on the under 25s. What we're going to do is at some stage we'll get someone to run down, come back with some rink scores and overalls on the ladies and the girls. And the boys down there in the under 25s doing their best in very blustery conditions. And we like to make sure that we keep the parents and those concerned informed on exactly how they're going as well. So you're enjoying your time up here now, Bryce? It's
yeah, it's different. I do miss Port Macquarie, where there's not as much traffic and you can walk wherever you want to go and park wherever you want. But it's a bit different up here.
Yeah. It's an interesting change. I obviously lived up around Noosa and the Sunshine Coast and moving down to the Gold Coast, but I found that I'm enjoying it down here. A little bit more to do and definitely a lot more bowls that you can play. Competition's a little bit tougher. You run into, when you go into clubs like Helensvale and Broadbeach and a number of those clubs, even Burleigh, there's always someone there that can play a great game.
Yes,
Even the what clubs say, the smaller clubs, you rock up there and you're playing people like, the Laws, those people tend to be in there that won't give you a fair chance. They always want to draw shots on me, I don't know why.
Yeah, keep trying.
Yeah, it's my first effort at playing for Paradise Point. Selected in a 7-a-side competition, and we actually went right through the whole thing, and we won it.
This was last year.
Yeah, we won $8,000. Yeah.
How'd they go in this year?
Winning Tats Lotto. Yeah.
How'd they go in this year?
Mind your own business.
You can't.
I only ask that because I know.
Just trying not to be greedy, aren't you, Al?
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do now at Paradise Point, we're going to play indoors on the indoor, and that runs
beautifully. I love it.
15 seconds or 16, 17, but every rink's different. So they're all
Paradise Point. That's a great indoor. I love Paradise Point.
Fantastic. Well, we should try to get you there for the Enduro Affairs there, the third Monday of every month.
Have you improved your game?
I've just got a new hip, so I can actually get down. I'm not dropping the bowl anymore, so things are starting to happen.
Good delivery.
Literally got that hip.
Oh, I tell you.
Since you had that hip, you're not too good.
Tell your viewers, it was a long time hanging around that Australian side with this man in it. Mr. Schnitzel, I used to call him. What are you having for dinner? Chicken schnitzel.
Shut up, will you?
We hit up on the fact that you were 77 years young. When you first started playing state bowls in Victoria, what age was you then?
33.
Was you the youngest in the side?
Yeah, I started with Dennis Dalton and Jeff Sutcliffe around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, we were all about the same age.
All about the same age.
Yeah.
Wow. The average age, if you can remember, I'm just throwing this in, back then, in your early days of Victorian state bowls, would have been what? 45, 50? Or even more?
Yeah. Probably 50, 55,
So it's dropped by about 25 years.
Well, I've got the ages here of the New South Wales team, and obviously you've had more experience with them. I'll just go through a few. I haven't got them all, but we've got Matty Miles, who's 29 years old. The old man of the side, my old mate Nathan Dawson. Now, he may have been in the side when you was involved. Nathan
No,
Dawson?
he
from
was
Curry?
out of the side.
Out of the side,
Yeah.
all right. Well, he's playing great bowls. He's back in there. Aaron T's 25 years old. Aaron Wilson. Anybody tell me how old Aaron is?
Aaron
I'm going to
Wilson.
guess about 26.
Yeah, I'd say 26, 27.
27.
Yeah.
Okay. Mason Lewis, attender 22 years.
Yeah.
Jesse Narona 27. Carl Healy 31. Benny Twist 28. Billy Johnson 23. Corey Wedlock 22. David Ferguson 34 and Ray Pearce 34. Wow.
So, see, all of those blokes,
Average that
you
out to
would
about
say
30.
About 30.
they're all
wouldn't be surprised if it
experienced,
cracks under
even
that.
at that age. They're
Yeah.
all experienced at that age.
They'll
Very,
come up through
very
the juniors.
experienced.
Eh?
Yeah, very experienced
Yeah.
at that age.
I mean, some of the
They
titles
are. They're
amongst
very
that
good. There's probably, I reckon there's probably 3 or 4 around that age that are unlucky. Because when I was selected, we could have picked 2 sides.
Well, Carl Hurley for years there was winning state titles and
Yeah,
couldn't
and
make
yeah,
a side.
Yeah, couldn't make the side.
Yeah, I think he won about 3 state titles in a
Yeah.
row and couldn't even get in the side.
That's right.
Great player. It's good
Yeah.
to see him out there playing good bowls still.
When I wander down to see how the under 25 side's going, I'll have a chat with a few of the older Queensland hierarchy and see if we can get some average ages or ages of the Queensland side. I would suggest that they may be a couple of years older than the New South Wales side. But when you think about it, around the 30-year-old playing for your state, and a lot of these guys are internationals,
Yes.
and have been for many years. It's what a sport, you know. You're still kicking on. I'm still kicking on.
Yeah.
Nearly 70, nearly 77. Still bowling. You're still as fit as ever.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 69 in a couple of weeks' time. 2nd of April, if you really want to know.
No, not really.
No, you didn't. I think so. Okay. But it wasn't the first. All right. We, I think I may have a wonder. I'd like to introduce somebody as well. We've got our district, our main sponsor from our district, Craig, here with us. And Craig is from Niagara. What I may do, what about we put him in my seat and you ask him a few questions, or would you like me to do it the other way around?
I'm quite happy for you to continue. You are the #1 commentator.
Okay, do you want to shoot down there and get the results from the
That's
under
where I'm
25s?
going,
All
yes.
right, that sounds good. And
Need me?
well, we might get you back later on
Yes.
when the pressure's on. I gather you're shouting for New South Wales.
They asked me, Queensland blokes asked me, and I said, I'll barrack for the team that's not winning.
Not winning.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
I just hope.
Well, we'll
it's-
find out who's not winning a bit later on, and we'll maybe grab you back up here, and maybe you can give us a bit of a rundown on why they're not winning.
Okay, not a problem.
All right. Good
Thanks,
on you, Bryce.
mate.
Always good to see you, mate.
Bye.
And I'll see you. Are you Monday at Burley Heads for the pairs, the Enduro?
Oh, mate, I played at Burley Heads in Pennant.
All right.
It was the worst green. No, not a good green.
Well, there are a couple of bad rinks, but they're not the worst rinks. I played on them on Friday, Sunday morning, and they ran terrific. But I can understand what you're saying. Everybody has a bad rink here and there.
Well, I had to get a hernia operation straight after it.
Well, most greens are slow at this time of the year. But no, you'll find if you
It wasn't
next
just-
time you come back there, I promise you,
It wasn't just slow.
we'll put you on a good rink as well.
It's sort of after that. I think
Get out of there. Good on you, Bryce. All right. Well, we've got Craig here, who's the. I think the title is Sales and Marketing Manager. Am I right? Or are you General Manager on the place?
Yeah, just the Queensland manager.
The
there for
Queensland manager.
Niagara therapy, yeah.
There we go. All right. I'll just tell you something before we introduce Craig to you. I'll give you a bit of an update there before we do that. New South Wales men 16, Queensland men 14, and we'll come back to the game there. As I say, it's in the early stages, and we're just going to fill in a little bit, have a chat to a few different people until it gets down to the pointy end. Enjoy what you're doing, share as much as you can. Get on there and share with at least half a dozen of your friends. Every bit helps. And if you've got any comments, as I say, make those, and if you've got any questions, we'll do our best to answer them. But yeah, the Gold Coast Tweed District hierarchy, we were invited out to Niagara, out there in Parkinson earlier this week, or was it last week? It was anyway, a few days ago, and we were invited out to the factory, the sales area, display, etc. And I've never been as impressed in all my life, and I've been in business for on and off, or worked for large companies for the last 55 years, and what I felt when I walked into that factory was absolute professionalism, the warmth of the staff, and I don't think there was anything prompted there. It was just a genuine happy feel when we walked in there. The telemarketing area, obviously they work on leads generated, and mate, they were pumping. Those telephones were going berserk. Out in the we met a guy called Kevin, and his last name escapes me. Kevin
Richardson.
Kevin Richardson. I'm from an old town in the UK, Wigan, and I found out that he was a mad soccer fan, and he's from Burnley. I don't know why he was a mad soccer fan from Burnley, but anyway, he told me that. But this man, his heart and soul is in that company, and with all those health products, he just knows it backwards. He just knows what the company not only has to do, but wants to do. And I'll probably get Craig to tell you a little bit more about that. But we are very, very happy to have Niagara on board as one of our major sponsors here for the district. And things like the live stream, that all is facilitated by this fantastic company. Welcome, Craig.
Thanks very much, Alan. Thanks for having us on board. It's wonderful to be here today and joining in this wonderful State of Origin competition.
Well, it's not exactly a state of origin, but it is a residency of origin. Otherwise, there would be a lot of fights out there, let me assure you, because we've got New South Wales players playing for Queensland,
yep,
and vice versa. So we certainly going to have to get that right in our marketing material, unless we go back to the old state of origin like the rugby league. Just to put you right on that, because I'm sure there's somebody going to ring in and say, how the hell can such and such a body say he's playing for New South Wales when he's a Queenslander?
I see. Thanks you. I stand corrected.
All right, I believe you've got some of the guys out here who are going to give us some free therapy treatments.
Yes, yes, days like today, thank you, Alan, and subsequent days at events like this, it's with what we do, just a brief overview is we're here. I mean, we all want to feel as good as we can, in any area or walk of life. So with the bowls, whether it's bowls or seniors tennis or golf, or we do a lot of work in community, so it's great to be here again. At these events, like you've mentioned, we have a station set up, and that's just designed. A lot of this work is education and awareness into community, because there's still quite a number of people that are unaware of our natural therapies on offer. So we love to get out here and to give people free treatments, give them information. Anybody who's interested, they can have a free gift certificate and have treatments with us. And that's just quite simply all those niggles, as I say, in any walk of life, whether it's knees, hips, back, shoulders. In the world of bowls, it's I'm sure very similar to other sports where it's all the moving parts of the body. We've got to keep those in good stead, and when inflammation and injuries and accidents sort of come along in life, which they do, that's when having a natural style maintenance therapy to keep the body well. It's we've had success now for 69 years. It's our 70th year internationally, and we're very happy to be celebrating 50 years in Australia sharing our therapy. We have a very simple vision, and that is to give everybody free of charge the opportunity to try our therapy to help with those niggles, sports injuries, age-related concerns, so that we can all just continue to do what we love to do.
I think you've hit on the right sport to be involved with. There's plenty of us need your equipment, I can assure you. Okay, well, we're based here at Tweed Heads Bowls Club on the border of New South Wales and Queensland, and as Craig says there, they're set up in the centre room between the indoor complex and the bar, poker machine area, etc. If you're in the area, if you're on the area at the moment, just make your way over there. They'd be more than happy to give you some treatment. But I'm sure, have you got an 1800 number or the like where we can maybe pump it up on the live stream here, or for.
We do. I had spoken with Bob Denham and sent something through, but I'll chase that up for you there, Alan, and so you can put it up there. I believe that was this one here for now. Yep.
Okay, so we can use that 1800 number?
Yep.
And leads would be generated to them. And they can arrange a free in-home demo. Is that the plan?
We have a designated number that we've arranged.
Okay.
To send. To
So
Bob
shall we
Denham.
stay with that number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll keep you posted on that one.
Yep.
Maybe do we have that for tomorrow? Do you think?
Yep.
Okay, we'll have that for you tomorrow. If you've got any comments there, if you want us to pass your information on to Craig, we'll do that. But failing that, if you hook in again tomorrow, we'll have a designated phone number there for you, and
email as well.
And email.
We'll have it, yeah.
And you'll just take the equipment out to them and let them.
We offer free in-home demonstrations. So the
Timbuktu.
people with Timbuktu's fine. People with curiosities, they can enjoy kicking back and getting a nice complimentary, maybe about half an hour treatment on the troubled areas, and people can feel and judge what our wonderful therapy does, and take it from there.
Right, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember hearing this right, but have you got a bit of a competition going there? Anybody who actually just goes out and...
We do. Yeah. It's we run the competition every year, and it's for the people that do also see us and try our therapy. They're given a ticket into a draw, and that's drawn, and the prize draw there, it's $10,000 cash or cruise, whichever is the preference there. And we've had a number of winners across Queensland and New South Wales over the previous years, and very happy to get that phone call and be presented with the big check. So some of those people have just tried an in-home treatment, got a ticket, and they've been fortunate enough to win.
Awesome. Well, let it be a bowler. But even if it's not you, I mean, you may have a loved one there who you care dearly for, and you may see... Can we actually get them to Google Niagara and maybe find some information on there about what they have?
Absolutely. Yep. At www.niagara.com.au, and that's Niagara as in Niagara Falls, Niagara. So very simple.
Fantastic.
And have a lot of information up there on the website and further contact details as well.
All right, and we'll have some flyers here, I would imagine, that we can hand out.
Absolutely.
All right, keep that in mind, folks. We, as I say, if it's not for you yourself, you're one of your loved ones, a friend, you may want to help them, and I'm sure you will. Recommending any of these products, they're, as I say, I'm really impressed. Well, thanks, Craig.
Okay, thanks very much, Alan. I'll get busy helping some people with some lovely free therapy treatments.
I might join you soon.
Okay, see you then.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers, mate.
Just been for a little wander down on the other green down there, Alan, and what I've done is I've just come back with quick results of the under 25s. New South Wales is currently dominating both the ladies and the boys down there. The girls, New South Wales 12, the Queensland girls are 6. That's up to 9 ends. And on the boys' rink, New South Wales is 10, Queensland's 13 on 12, but they were counting up ahead as I walked away, so that score will now be realistically about 13 all on 13.
Excellent.
So we're going to try and keep that up to date as we, if we can see through the crowd here, and keep you informed on what's happening down there.
All right. Well, you wouldn't have spent long down there, but any standouts? Anybody jump out at you playing some star shots?
Yeah, look, the new girls are starting to settle in. The debutants, they're settling in. Tasha's trying to corral those into to getting some shots in the head. It seems it's just as blustery on that green as it is on the number 1 screen. I saw while I was down there, 2 bowls go down the green where they turned sideways at the halfway point and actually came back on themselves. So they didn't actually, they were lucky to get over just the minimum length, and they were playing 3/4 length. So to give you an idea, I've just watched on the number 1 side here, one of the rinks here, it's exactly the same thing happened. So if you're looking at the screen thinking, well, I could get closer, believe me, it's a difficult task out there, being done by some of the best players in the world.
It is Tweed Heads, and as we all know, this weather is just kicking up. You check those flags out there; they're getting pretty strong, and I believe we've seen nothing yet. If this cyclone comes this way tomorrow, which is predicted, we could even see the game called off. Or do you reckon they'll play in this no matter what?
Well, I'd say if we get to that stage, they'll probably look at taking it to the indoor, getting some games underway there. They could realistically just stage it so that they can get everyone through the rounds.
Yeah.
It's a full green, so you can certainly play the top, the senior side, have their matches go through, and then while they're having a break, possibly put the under 25s on. Somewhere around the schedule. I'm sure Wayne Turley, who's we all know is one of the best bowls coordinators in Australia, ran the Green Tarrant Point, does a beautiful job. He'd certainly have contingency plans in place.
I believe we have got that in place, and I think we mentioned earlier that the under 25s are contemplating, no matter what, playing a second game, so they'll get that second test out of the way. Hopefully that's a 1-all, and then there's a bit of a thriller for the third one tomorrow. But yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that weather stays away. I don't think it is going to stay away. It's going to be windy anyway. But as Michael says, yeah, if you think you can do better, put your hand up. I mean, just check the clothes on the girls, just about blowing. All right. We do have another commentator heading our way. He's a former soccer player. Is our Les Rootsy. Les comes out of the Tweed Heads Bowls Club, but he played with Prague and also South Coast United in Wollongong. And he's just crept up here on the left. I wasn't going to grab him that quick, but I know how quick he can move, being a former soccer player. Now, tell me, Les, you've done a bit of time on the radio, I believe.
Yes, I spent a couple of years with Channel 9 on the Gold Coast, and with a couple of radio stations down in Coffs Harbour.
So TV and radio?
TV and radio and newspapers as well.
Okay. Well, we've all got radio heads here, but I can understand why you was on TV.
A good head for radio, that's right, Alan.
All right, so how long have you been bowling yourself?
I started 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
I've seen you around the tournaments quite a bit over that probably that amount of years.
I've seen your head around too.
Yeah, well, it's like a busted one, but yeah, it's been around a while. Well, okay. Well, you're obviously on the Gold Coast media team now, and that's fantastic. I mean, we do need, like we are, volunteers to do this sort of thing. Obviously, because of your past history in the media. And you playing bowls, it just marries itself up for you to be along here.
It's a perfect sport for videoing, Alan. Don't you find? I find that you can see the whole game, except when people get their bums in the road, of course. You can see the whole game and get a picture of what's going on. I think it's a perfect game for video. And from what we're seeing here today, there's some great bowls. I'm finding that there's a bit of that wind problem causing issues with some of the players, especially up this club end. Up the club end here, that's protected from the wind,
yes.
And you get a different roll of the bowl depending which way you're going. And I think a few of the players took a little while to adjust to that. They're starting to get their heads now.
You can actually see bowls coming down with the flag blowing that way and the bowls taking a sharp turn this way.
Yep.
I mean, that can't be easy for anybody, no matter how experienced you are. You're in the lap of the gods a lot of the time. You play here quite a lot. Is this pretty normal here?
Yes, it is. That southerly breeze seems to be fairly persistent this part of the here in Tweed Heads, and that wind coming up from behind the club is pretty normal if you're a club player here, which a few of the ladies are obviously, with Chloe Stewart and Trish Van Brooker and those people, they know the greens, they know the wind, and obviously they got a head start.
Now, what name was that again?
One of the young ladies here in the women's team, Jessica Shrishrambayar.
Okay, now you're pretty sure you've got that right?
No, I'm not.
Because we've all struggled with that.
Yes, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Jess is easy.
We're going to call her Jessie Smith, you know that, don't you? Because
That'll
I don't think anybody's been able to pronounce that yet.
Yeah, she's a lovely little player, and
she
she's
was.
just joined the club about 5 years ago, and she's done well.
I think she win the under 18 Australian singles?
Yes, she was.
She did.
Right.
Yeah, I thought she did.
Yep, that's true.
And I know she's featured in quite a lot of other events, and probably more than one state. I think she may have won state triples. I don't have a history here, but maybe there's somebody out there. Maybe Mum's watching, or some of her friends, and just give us a line or two.
I know a teammate, Chloe Stewart, just won the American Open singles and the pairs, which was quite an achievement. A lot of people don't realise the bowls in America is quite strong, surprisingly. And to win the US Open is no mean feat.
A few of the Australian boys have been across there and won titles. I think
I've been
Steve
over
Hallmeyer.
I went over with Steve a couple of times to the US Open. And,
So did you win it yourself?
no, we got to the finals, semis and the fours.
Okay.
With Steve, but Steve did win the fours the following year.
All right. Okay, so where's next for you? Are you going back to America to play in the event?
I've often thought about it. It's a great event. It's well organised, and they certainly do a good job over there. And my next target is the Musgrave Hill Easter Opens. I guess yours too, is it?
No, unfortunately I can't play in the singles. My son will be there to defend his title.
That's right. You played the finals last year, didn't you?
I did, and the young whippersnipper got me. But I have another young whippersnipper, my youngest son Gary Law, who was a pretty fair junior player back in the day, some 22 years ago. And he played his first competitive game, last night over at Burleigh in the Fairs with his older brother Ian. And mate, what a game! That was
just a natural,
you know, and I'm not just saying my boys played at that level, but opponents as well. And mate, it was just a great game to watch. I was just happy and privileged that I could be there.
Must make you proud, isn't it, to see the young bloods coming through? Do you coach them at all?
Of course, taught them all they know.
Enough said, Alan.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you're playing here. You're playing in the Premier Sevens, or?
No, I've actually been out of the game for a little while. I've been overseas in New Zealand for a couple of months, and then I had a few injuries as well. I've got to go under surgery next Tuesday, actually, get a knee fixed up. So, but once that comes good, I'll be back into it seriously again.
Fantastic. That would be great to see you back out there. All right.
Yeah, so at the moment we've got Queensland leading 22-19 in the women, and in the men, the New South Wales are leading 23-17 on the overall scores. So still close game for both ends. Now, you were saying a bit earlier that the overall winning streak here between New South Wales and Queensland, it's been a long time between drinks for one of them.
I have a bit of a rundown here from. They've been playing for the Walt Curry Shield since 1962 through to our current year, and since 2003, hold it, New South Wales supporters, but you are 7-9 for Queensland, so you're dragging the chain a little bit, but you do have one thing in your favour: you are the current champions. Now, 1965, New South Wales. But they were pretty dominant, I would say, at that stage. Between 65 and 67, they won 5 tests straight. But Queensland, as they do in the rugby league, they got themselves sorted out. And Queensland won the next 5. Now, from 1971, they won 6 straight. Now, that's the biggest dominance for quite a while, right through till 1997. But New South Wales did win 4 straight from 79 over 4 series. That was over 2 or 3 years, because sometimes we play 2 series, as you probably know. But in 85, Queensland bounced back again and had 5 straight. But as I say, in 1997, New South Wales had 6 straight wins. Now that might make you all feel superior down there, you New South Wales people, but let me just give you the rundown. Queensland won 5 straight from 2003. And as I've said, right through up until today, just over the last 10, 11 years, we are 9-7 up. So what do you think is going to happen today? And I'm waiting for the abuse, so bring it on, guys. And girls. And that's just the men's.
I'll sit on the fence, Alan. It's always a good position to be.
So,
uncomfortable, but a good
so
one.
are you classed as New South Wales or Queensland?
That's a good question, actually. I was born in New South Wales, but I live in Queensland, so when state of origin comes around, I've got a multicoloured shirt on.
Definitely on the fence. All right, who's going to win today?
Yeah, it's a good question. Very close at the moment, and both teams obviously supporting many big stars, many Australian reps here. And interesting to see Karen Murphy just dropped out of the Australian squad. She's maybe trying to prove something for herself. As is over in the men's for New South Wales, Aaron Wilson has been overlooked in the Australian squad after winning the Commonwealth Games gold medal, which is a bit of a surprise. So he'll obviously be able to prove something here today as well.
I did see that, and I thought maybe more than one reason why he's not there. And I couldn't imagine it being on form or lack of form, but obviously the strength of the side. I mean, we're in a great position, and I'm pretty sure it was Bryce who earlier said that they could have picked 2 teams in New South Wales at one time. Well, even in the Australian side, I reckon we could pick 2 Australian sides. I mean, obviously, you know, your New Zealand, your England, your Scotland, your Wales Island, etc. You know, they could probably pick 2 as well. But I think we're pretty well blessed in the talent that we've got here.
There's a great depth of talent and a lot coming through as well. You know, a lot of the younger guys coming in the under-25s here today as well will probably be knocking on the door in the near future.
Yes, just to give you a bit of a rundown on that as well. They're playing for the Archer Stewart Trophy down on the far green there, and we will definitely keep you posted. They've been playing for that trophy since 2007, and once again, Queensland are 7-5 up on their opponents, and this will startle the New South Wales fans. Queensland won the last 4. Get that up here. And they are the current champions. So
where are you from, Alan?
I'm definitely a Queenslander.
Right.
I'm a former Victorian, and I'm a former Wiganer. And I started playing bowls in the UK in 1968, playing crown green bowls, which I won't tell you too much about that today. I've done it before in the past on commentary, and I confused the hell out of everybody. But if ever you see me in the street one day, I'll give you the rundown on how they play crown green bowls compared to how we play on our billiard table bowling greens here in Australia.
It'll be a fascinating game to watch. I know there's a lot of shouting and a lot of noise around the game.
Very much so. Back in the day, the bowling greens around the Lancashire area and Yorkshire area, where crown green bowls is predominantly played, they would have bookies, whether they're official bookies or not, bookmakers, right, up to 10 deep around the whole of the green, and the odds would be shouting and moving from one end of the green to the other, from the one player to another, as soon as things changed, and it might be somebody dropping a 2 or somebody picking up a 2, because they only play with 2 bowls over there. Somebody throws a long end and gets on a mark. And when I say a mark, I'd have to explain that, because with crown green bowls, they play on a patch of grass behind usually a pub or a club, where they can fit that green in. And that green is not necessarily square or oblong, it could be any bloody shape. But the green, there's a crown in there between 8 and 15 inches, and you can imagine bowls running everywhere. They have grooves or marks or lines or channels or whatever you want to call it, and you get in there first with your bowl, and it's almost impossible to beat that bowl. Henceforth, there's a lot of firing, as they call it, which we call it driving, and mate, the excitement back in those days, I don't know what it's like now. I've been out of the UK for 44 years now, and I haven't been to a crown green game, but I would imagine it to be similar from the crowd, but the bookies, probably a different story. But a lot of money changed hands and mate, it was like the stock exchange. It was so fiery. Yeah, just if anybody's got any footage of that, maybe the Waterloo or one of the old, they still play Chrome Green Bowls in England. If anybody's got any footage of any of the old Chrome Green Bowls with maybe the bookies around it, put it on YouTube. Stick it on our bowls website. It's an education.
Do you think a game like that would immune you to the noise and distractions on a normal bowls green?
No. Nobody was distracted. As a matter of fact, in the days that I remember, the players welcomed it. I've seen the players walking up to the crowd and egging them on. So come on, cheer me, boo me, whatever you want. I'd love to see that in bowls. I really would. I mean, if you watch the darts, do you watch the darts?
Yeah, I do.
How fantastic is that atmosphere?
Well, it's similar to the PBA, which is starting on TV next week, I guess.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and the more the merrier. I visited Pine Rivers late last year, and the atmosphere there was absolutely electric. It was as good as anywhere I've been in Australia to watch a game of lawn bowls. They do it so well, and I think it's only going to get better. Now, Mark Casey, he's bringing out the UBC. I'm sure if you haven't heard about it, Google UBC, Mark Casey, and big prize money, the richest tournament. I know the Bowls Australia say that they probably are the richest bowls tournament on the planet, $250,000, $60,000, $70,000 total. First prize, big money, but I have a funny feeling that UBC could knock that off. And it's a real corporate bowls type promotion. Changing the image, changing some of the rules. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm disappointed that I'm overseas for the first event, but hopefully I can hook in onto some live stream somewhere. But yeah, Mark Casey, you deserve a medal, mate. I know you've got plenty from playing bowls, but you deserve a medal. And thank you for what you do for bowls. Equally Bowls Australia.
We certainly need more of those sort of tournaments, don't we, Alan, to get more interest back into the game and draw people who are non-bowlers into the game itself.
I don't think it's ever been as healthy. I remember trying to promote bowls myself in the mid-'80s, and I felt there was a bit of a surge going there, and then it fell away. I don't think the establishment were ready for the change, for coloured apparel, coloured bowls, sets play, big money events, bowl celebrities. They just weren't ready for it and didn't encourage it. But wow, we've come a long way, and I mean, just have a look out here. We've got glamours out there playing bowls. And I'm not saying there weren't glamours in the old days. I'm far from saying that, but yeah, when you see the dresses down over the kneecaps and all whites, and yeah, we've changed, and we've changed for the better. I'm not saying the bowls is better. I'm saying that we, image-wise, and acceptability to the public has changed, and I think it can only get better and better and better. Bring it on.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with you with that, and we do need more younger people in, and as you mentioned, there's a lot of young people out here today playing in this test series, so more we see of it, the better the bowls is going to be in the future.
On that note, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to invite Michael Keegan back, and maybe I'll have a wander down there and have a look at the under-25s, get some fresh air, and welcome back, Michael Keegan.
Thanks very much, Al.
Thank you, Les. Great job. And we'll have you back again, I'm sure, later on, as we tire.
Welcome back, Michael.
Yeah, great to be back. Just had a little bit of a break and watching some bowls there, and it is difficult out there. It's everyone's struggling. The guys, the young ones, as well as the senior squad. It's
This change in wind, do you think, between the club and the other end?
yeah. Look, that's the main factor. We're finding that it's blustery down the road end, and when they're copying a bit of a blow there on the way down, it's turning the bowls completely over on their bias, or as I've just noticed on a couple of the guys' rinks, the bowls have actually walked out of bounds against their buys. So it'll give you a good idea how much they're actually copying a wind gust down towards that road end.
Well, you can see by the flags, you may not be able to see them on the screen, but the flags are gusting. They'll suddenly drop and then gust away. So if your bowl's on the way down the green, when that gust comes through, it's certainly going to affect the line.
Yeah, I noticed a drive that was put down by Lindsay Clark in the last end of one of hers, and she's driven on the line. It was 3/4 of the way down. It was still holding a nice line into the head. By the time it got there, it missed by about 1.5 meters. So it hadn't lost any pace. It just got blown off its axis.
That'd be gutting, wouldn't it?
Yes, she was down a couple, so it was a pretty important shot to get. So I think there was a lot of New South Wales people willing it to divert, and that's what sort of happened. But on her rink currently, Lindsay against Kelsey after 10 ends. Kelsey has now come back to take the lead on that rink and is leading 13-11. The Chloe Stewart matchup. Chloe's playing against Natasha Scott, so a couple of the younger ones. That matchup has been a great matchup, and Chloe Stewart has currently got a bit of a lead on that 10-4. Chloe's now a member of the mighty Tweed Heads Bowls Club, so she knows the greens well. She would have been out here practicing in the wing because Chloe is a diligent practicer of the game. She's always training, so she's one of the ones that believes heavily in honing her skills, and it certainly looks like it's paying off a little bit out there.
I notice Cara Murphy's leading 10-3 on her green against Olivia Millerick. So she's got a good lead there.
Yeah, after 8 ends, Kaz has played a couple of bombs in there, and she really has a point to prove at the moment after being left out of that Trans-Tasman side. Karen rated as the #1 ladies lawn bowler in Australia for numerous years, and she has certainly proved to be a tough competitor. I know Karen personally, but and watched her play with and against my wife, and there's not a person out there that wants to win more than Karen.
I know when she dropped out of the Australian squad 5-10 years ago, and she was very disappointed at that fact. Have you spoken to her since then with the latest announcement?
That was back when Rex Johnson took control.
Right, yeah.
There was they were looking to make some changes. Karen missed the Commonwealth Games in India, which was very controversial. As controversial as I suppose Steve Glasson missing the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne. Whether we would have come back with a little bit more, I don't know with Karen there, but she certainly is the player you want on board when things get tough, and India was definitely tough. Karen's obviously very disappointed about not making this latest side. The conversations that have been had are conversations that Karen will always keep close to her chest. She won't let too much out there. She discuss a few things obviously with good close friends, but it's not for publication. It's not something I would tell anyone else about.
And obviously she's determined to get back into the Australian squad, I take it?
Oh yes, no, Karen.
She's a fighter, isn't she?
She has unfinished business.
Right.
The last Commonwealth Games wasn't her best game, well, her best results, I should say. And Karen feels she's got unfinished business and obviously wants to get back in.
Any comments on the crowd reaction in the Comm Games? I watched that, and she had a lot of people who seemingly were drunk in the grandstand giving her a little bit of curry. Did she react to that at all, do you know?
Look, Karen really won't give anybody a reason to go out against her. There certainly was that element there, but they were giving stick to nearly anybody they could. It was a crowd that was just there having some fun and everything else, and we're to take that on board as lawn bowlers. We have music introduced into the game these days. There's a lot of other distractions that yesteryear and even today some people frown on. So people jeering or cheering for individual teams or for opposite sides, they do it in every other sport. I think it's something we've got to learn, that not everyone's going to be on your side, and they have the right to cheer for the other team.
Yes, that's true. It just seemed as though they were actually going overboard cheering for her, which was a little bit ironic, and calling out Kaza, Kaza, you know, and that sort of chanting, which I would have been a bit upset by if I'd been Karen, I guess.
Yeah, no, not really. It's happened numerous times at different international venues. People that don't know a lot about the game that come along, and that's what happens at the Commonwealth Games. There's crowds come along, they don't know anything about the game. It's a cheap venue to go to. It's one of the cheaper ones to get into. They do have a few drinks. They suddenly pick up on a name, and they'll follow through that name. I know in India, you know, they're calling out Duke, Duke, Duke. A lot of the Indian supporters were calling out Jukey, 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 which was Claire Duke at the time. Now Claire Turley. And it was just an easy name for them to understand. And they actually got told by the officials of India to stop cheering for Australia. and whether they knew what they were doing, who knows? But it's just something a crowd does when they don't understand who's who in the crowd. They get a name and away they go.
Yeah, there's real opposites, aren't there? I've just finished watching the World Indoor Titles in England. I don't know if you saw it at all, but
yeah,
the crowds there can't even whisper or blink, and you know, players get upset. So I guess there's a real difference between reactions such as the BPL here in Australia and that World Indoor Title, and the way the crowds move around and speak and talk. So I guess if you're used to a little bit of action, it doesn't distract you as much.
Well, there is no distraction. I've spoken to virtually all the top international players at certain times, and you talk to the guys from Scotland and the UK and places like that. They love the interaction with the crowd. They love the noise. They don't hear anybody in the stands. If you've got music and you've got noise, small distractions like a phone ringing or anything else, it just blends. What happens is you run into a problem when there is no noise, someone creaks on a seat, it sounds like someone's dropped a hammer. But that's because there's no noise, there's no ambience.
And it's funny, I've played football in front of a crowd of 40,000 people and you're not even aware they're there.
That's right.
The noise is so constant, you're just unaware that there's anyone there.
These top players don't even see someone walk behind a rink or do any of those type of things. I know a number of stories about, I know one that I'll tell you with Julie's playing the New Year's singles at Marucci Beach, and it was a final and they had a good crowd there. Everyone's sitting on the fence. And I said to her after the game, can you believe that guy with that whippersnipper cutting the hedges and doing the lawns around the back of the rink there the whole time you're playing that game? Didn't even know what was happening. So here's a guy hedging and whippersnipping, or two straight with a whippersnipper going. I said, it must have annoyed the crap out of you. And she didn't even know what guy. It was annoying the crowd, but it wasn't annoying the players. So
that's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
New South Wales boys over here are certainly getting to the task. They've now come up with a lead of 32-23 after 32 ends. They've gone to the shorter ends, so that I noticed on the middle rink there that they've shortened it up to possibly get a little bit more control and stay away from that end where it is blustering. And the heads, realistically, as I'm looking at the head they're playing now, that hasn't actually improved by bringing the jack further forward.
So the wind is not having that much of an effect either end in terms of the distance when you throw the jack.
Yeah, you would have thought if they'd brought it back towards the centre line a little bit more and went to sort of more towards a minimum length, that it might not be getting as much, but it's looking at the hats and the shorts, it's really blustery 3/4 of the way down this rink.
It's amazing the difference that wind creates. You look at this end and there's not a movement. No, the hair's not moving on some of these girls' players, and down the other end it's just the opposite. So it would be very difficult.
It's an old trick in bowls, isn't it? You're standing there, you can't feel any wind, you let it go, and you're halfway up the green, you think, oh dear, that's gone.
It keeps going.
I can see just a quick update on Aaron Sheriff's rink, playing against his old teammate Disco. over there. Currently Aaron, and he's known as Omar. So Omar playing for Queensland. We've got Omar coming in as a Cyclone, so that's a bit ominous. So hopefully.
Well, it's supposed to hit Saturday, so maybe that's when Aaron's going to come to the fore.
Hopefully our Omar will extract some damage on New South Wales. But he's currently behind there 9-12 against Disco Wilson on 12 ends.
I wonder how Disco's feeling, as I mentioned to Alan a bit earlier, having been left out of the Australian squad, yet he's the current Commonwealth Games singles champion. It would be a little bit of a kick up the bum to a certain degree, get your gear into action again.
Yeah, look, it'll be interesting to know what the background of that. I no doubt Steve Glasson, the Australian coach, would have had long conversations with him. He's had a pretty large campaign, even from the Commonwealth Games onwards. I think last year there was a mention that Aaron had played something like 250 days of lawn bowls. Up until the Commonwealth Games, and since the Commonwealth Games, though a lot of people think it was a long time ago, he's been playing a hell of a lot of bowls. So whether he's getting enough training in, maybe that regime's got to him, it's all speculation as far as we're all concerned, but I'd say that he would be disappointed, but there maybe he's having a little break from the Australian sides against New Zealand. That can always be the case.
I was speaking to Gary, assistant coach. What's Gary's last name? The Australian squad. I've forgotten his name now. He was over in New Zealand with Thorburn and I'm getting old. I'm forgetting names. So they sent a couple of the Australian guys over to play in the New Zealand Pairs tournament last month.
Oh yes, yeah.
And Gary, I was talking to Gary about their training regime and how they keep tabs on them, looking at they've actually got GPS tracking devices on the players now to see how far they're moving each week. So they really do keep an eye on them.
Yeah, look, the training for the Australian squad, and what a lot of the normal players don't realise, coming up into the Commonwealth Games, I can only go on the experience that we had. We had a calendar on the wall, and I know for a fact that either playing or training with Australia or doing her standard training was in the vicinity of about 270 days up until Commonwealth Games.
Wow.
That was preparation for the 12 months prior. Now that's the sort of commitment these guys are putting in, and there's not a lot of monetary return unless you're out winning tournaments. And after doing that, a lot of these players don't. People say, why aren't they out still playing tournaments? Well, geez, they've about had enough. Like, you do that.
They've got full-time employment as well. They've got to feed their family and pay the bills.
Less than 1% make $1 out of bowls. Less than 1%.
Wow.
It's not. If you look at the stats on golf, they say that only about 12 to 15% of golfers actually can earn a decent living. Well, it's less than 1% in bowls.
It's a big commitment, very big commitment they've got to make.
Especially now that teams are getting younger. I think you were discussing with Alan before about, he was over here and we were talking about the ages of the squads 10, 15 years ago. Now, someone who was between the ages of 35 and 50 was still in their prime playing bowls at a high level. Gee, there'd be no one playing at 50 years of age playing for Australia.
It was interesting. I asked Steve Glasson, I go to New Zealand quite regularly every year around the January period, and when the Trans-Tasman Series on or the Pan-Pacifics have been on over there in New Zealand, Steve was there one year. I sat down and spoke to him and said, Steve, you've been at the top of your game. Obviously you've got the skills to play bowls well. Why aren't you still up the top there winning tournaments? And he basically had no answer, but I could see by his inflection that it was just basically you get tired. You've played a lot of bowls, the challenge is gone, the fire's not in your belly anymore.
Yeah, I think you can only sustain it for so long. There's no doubt the skill levels are still there. I was watching Ian Shoeback the other day, and Shoeback had a long period off bowls, and renowned as being one of the best players ever to grace a green. Now, Shuey's gone out there and started playing for a club and doing coaching and doing a great job with Club Koana. But, geez, to watch him on a green, when he wants to play a shot, when you see that glint in his eye when he decides, yep, I'm going to draw this or I'm going to set this, he's a different man. You can actually see him light up and he plays the shot. Why doesn't he do that on every bowl? Basically what you've just said.
Yeah.
He's played that many. Does he really need to do it?
That's
He's
right.
world champion,
Proved
gold
himself.
medalist,
Yeah.
won everything. He just doesn't have that same level of intensity anymore.
I guess it's the same in most sports too. You've been there long enough. You've done everything you have to do. Where's the challenge anymore?
Nothing to prove to anybody.
That's right.
So yeah, it's hard, and you see the younger ones come along, and they're all keen. They're jumping up and down, and they're getting passionate about the game, and it's terrific to see. I love watching young people achieve. It's especially in bowls, which traditionally is an old man sport or an old lady sport.
I noticed, having played a lot of different sports, top sportsmen just seem to flow. They talk about the zone mentally, but there's also a physical side of being at the top of your game, and your body just flows. It just becomes natural. And you see a lot of these younger players, they've got that fluidity in their body, and they can play most shots and feel confident about it. And they've got that fire in their belly. And the combination's pretty hard to beat.
Oh, look, it is, and it's how they hold that intensity for the longer period of time, and that's what's learnt as they go forward, and that's where the knowledge is passed down. I know you go to a world championships now. A world championship goes over 7-8 days, 3 games a day. They're all close games the first 2 days. Then you watch the ones fall away that haven't done the training or the physical side of it. Sorry about that. And also the mental side. They get the 3 days of full-on concentration, and suddenly they go out there and have that bad game, and that's the end of the campaign.
And that's the difference with bowls. It's that on and off concentration to be able to focus, to be able to relax, focus, relax. And turn that on and off all the time for, like you say, 2 or 3 days. It's a big ask.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm losing my throat now, so hopefully Alan's going to return very soon.
Well, in the men at the moment, New South Wales are leading 35-24 over Queensland. In the women, New South Wales have taken the lead there as well, 32-26 over Queensland. So at the moment, New South Wales are taking the honours on both the men's and the women's.
Yeah, New South Wales needs New South Wales is definitely grabbing a move on both sides of the ladies and men's rinks. So I'm not sure what Queensland need to do to spark up, but they've gone a little quiet out there. I've noticed on the team playing Karen Murphy, they've gone very quiet. So they might need to get a little bit louder, and the team over there on the on rink 6 in the men here for New South Wales, we're playing against Fergo. Like, Fergo's just played another bomb. Tongi's out there playing his first game for Queensland, so he'd be choking at the bit to do well. But Kurt Brown's rink is 18-5 down, so there's obviously some improvement needed there.
That's a big surprise, isn't it? That's quite a talented team, that men's team, and for Queensland. As you mentioned, Stephen Tong just playing first time. Brett Wilkie, of course, playing third.
Yeah, look. I think Kurt is a prolific winner here. He plays at this club. He's won everything there is to win in in Queensland over the last 5 years. He's graced the top of the pedestal with the gold medals around his head on numerous occasions. And for Kurt to be down the 18-5, he certainly won't go down without a fight. But they're definitely going to have to make some movement there, or change the length, or do something to get back on top of that New South Wales rink. I'm going to take a break from here and hand back over to Alan. I think Alan's been down visiting the under-25s and is going to come back with some stellar knowledge on the performance of the younger players down there and give us some information. So I'll hand it over to you, Alan, to pass on that knowledge.
Thanks, Michael. Just as you mentioned, Kurt Brown's green, his opposition, Aaron Wilson and Aaron Tees, between them they've probably got a bag full of Australian Open titles. So it's not a bad combination. So it's no dishonour to be going down so much, but I'm sure they don't like losing.
All right, a little man back here after a bit of wandering down the far end, get a bit of fresh air. The men's, Queensland, after 24 ends are on 19, New South Wales on 27. The girls, ladies, after 20 ends, New South Wales 24 and Queensland 19. So we need our Maroons to pick the game up a little bit there, and back on with the main game here. Where are we? New South Wales running away, 35-24 after 35 ends. What have you been doing while I've been away?
They've certainly turned it around in terms of both the men's and women's, so it's getting quite interesting now. And as Michael was saying, sometimes they're playing a short end, but it doesn't seem to be making much difference in that win going away from the club. So a lot of the greens now have gone back to the longer end.
I think that's going to change again. Yeah, I really do. You don't often see the big boys and the big girls playing short ends. The guys can hit too easy nowadays. May work an end or two, but I can't see anybody running away with 4 or 5 ends straight on minimum lengths. Anyway, while I've been away, I run into a few people there, and obviously the hierarchy of Bowls Queensland here, including our own president from down the Gold Coast here, Mr. Brian Marshall, and always good to see happy Brian. And there's a few sponsors I'd like to just mention here. These are prominent and long-term sponsors for Bowls Queensland, and that's Mullins Lawyers, BCIB Insurance Brokers, the Queensland Government, God bless them, Henselite, been around a long time, Club Super, and Nanda Mitsubishi. So if you're looking for any expertise or products in any of those areas, just keep that in mind. You're a bowler, support bowls, and I'll give you a quick rundown on that again. Mullins Lawyers, BCIB Insurance, Queensland Government. Don't know what you can do to help them. Probably be more of them helping us, but anyway, Henselite, if that's your chosen brand, and Club Super, and the Nanda Mitsubishi. Thank you to those people and anybody and everybody out there who supports bowls.
Well, at the moment we've got the cameras on the Nathan Rice Ben Twist rink, and at the moment that's quite a close game. Queensland leading that 10-6, but still anybody's game there. So Nathan Rice taking the honours so far in that game.
We will have another guest heading in this direction in the next 15-20 minutes, and that's Gary Willis. Gary is the current state state coach for New South Wales, former international himself and medalist. The assistant coach to Steve Glasson in the Australian squad, and just an all-round great bloke.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned his name, because we're talking with Michael a bit earlier, and I was talking to Gary in New Zealand just last month, and if I could remember his last name.
There you go. Yep, Gary Willis has been around the scene for a long time. I can remember playing against Gary and Adam Jeffrey. It was my eldest son Ian and myself. We played them in a tournament in Canberra somewhere, and we got the flogging of our lives. These two guys were like 14, 15, 16 years old, and just played like veterans. They were just unbelievable, and we both said there's a future for those guys, and wasn't long after that they progressed to state bowls and eventually into the Australian squad, both of them. G'day Adam Jeffrey, if you're out there listening. You want to make any shout outs to anybody out there? I know for a fact that we should be saying hello to Bobby Denham. Bobby's our overall manager for the media, and he's on the board of the Gold Coast Tweed District. And unfortunately, Bobby's in hospital today. Was due here, and well, we just wish him the best of luck, mate. We know you've got a few problems there, and hopefully they can get sorted. We're all thinking about you here, mate, and your mates from all over the planet. We all know Bobby Denham, ex-Heathmont, Ringwood down there, and plays out at Helensvale currently, and I believe he's at Beenleigh for a little while. Ever lovable Bobby, we wish you well, mate, and if you're listening to this, cheers, buddy.
Yeah, I echo those thoughts too, Alan. Great bloke. In fact, Bob was part of the energy behind getting this crew together, really, wasn't he?
He certainly was. With Robbie, our co-partner in crime next to us there, he's got tons of drive, that guy. I don't know how he does it. He works and bowls. How do you do it, Bobby? Can you tell us?
No idea.
It's not those health drinks?
I got youth on my side.
You've got youth on your side? Yeah, we won't go there. Now then, are we able to set up for these comments? I've left the iPad over there. If you can set me up so we can...
I haven't got time for that yet.
All right, do you know how to do that?
Can you get Facebook on your one?
Yeah. Just find my glasses.
That might be easier at the moment.
Anybody who knows me knows I'm bugger. I can see bugger all without them. We'll just have a little break from commentary there for a few minutes.
We're just actually watching the Cara Murphy Bolivia Melrick game at the moment. And Karen about to bowl. The jack's just slightly obscured. No, there it is. We can just see the jack through the camera. And it's a good bowl from Karen. Just a bit of bad luck hitting the bowl in front. Part of the problem with fours, of course, there's so many players standing around the head, it's difficult for the cameras to get a clear vision of what's going on. And I've been down a few times just to ask the players politely if they could mind just steering clear of the camera, but of course they're intent on the game and they can't be concentrated on a camera behind them, so we understand their problems, and I hope you understand our problems.
Are you able to set us up on Facebook so we can see all the comments coming through?
Karen always very vocal, looking for a solution.
I don't know if it needs a password or what. It's just dumped there.
Coming through with a bit of weight. Hard to see what's happening, but she's taken one out. Looks as though she's got shot.
Got to keep your volume down. Can't have volume on that. Just blow out the whole system. You get comments, but no volume.
Yes, Errol Johnson just commented on our camera problems. Of course, it's difficult to, with a limited number of people in our team, to keep moving the cameras. We've got them on a fixed stance at the moment, and with the difficulty of fours play with 8 people involved, it's hard to get clear vision of the jack all the time. So we do apologise, but I hope you understand our difficulties. As you mentioned a bit earlier, Bob Denham, one of our crew, is obviously in hospital at the moment, and a few of our other team are on leave with various illnesses, so we're a skeleton crew of 3 today trying to cover the whole 6 rinks, and that's not easy. I'm back on the men's green and Jamie Anderson about to take the mat. Queensland currently leading 13-6 on that green, and Jamie with his very familiar stance. He's happy, so is the rest of the Queensland team. Corey Wedlock in reply.
It's his, yeah. I think it might be the district's.
Unfortunately at the other end we've got a few backsides in the way so we can't see the head, but doing our best. Jamie on the mat again. Jamie, of course, a former Australian indoor finalist. Corey Wedlock seems to like this, he's following it through.
It's kind of done a skeleton crew, but we haven't got many people on each camera.
Hey guys, just looking at some of your comments on there. We appreciate most of them. I say most of them, not all of them. We do have 2 of our volunteers today, or members of our staff, who've been hospitalised. It does make it a little tough. We're not in a position where we can roam on every rink. We're not in a position where we can roam on the head. It's, you know, it's a game of 4s and it's team events. It's a lot easier when you're just running a game of singles or a game of pairs. So you've got to be a little bit lenient for us to, towards what we are and are not able to do. We do our best. We've got fixed cameras. 1 minute people say we want to look at every rink, and then we've got other people saying we only want to look at one rink. We're not going to please everybody all the time. We're going to do our best though, so please bear with us. We will have more staff on tomorrow. It is day 1, and unfortunately, as I say, we've had 2 of our staff hospitalised only this morning. So hopefully you'll bear with us. Thank you.
Well, we're following the Nathan Rice and Ray Pearce rink at the moment. Nathan about to take the mat. It's difficult to see the head because our camera at the other end is obscured by a few players, but Nathan looks interested in this shot. He's following it pretty intently. Just through the head, just missed the jack. Ray Pearce, new addition to the Australian side, about to take the mat. That's Crystal, isn't it? Is that like this? Ben Twist.
Ben Twist, yeah.
You've got the wrong names on the draw. Yeah, it looks as though the draw we've been given has the wrong names on. We've got Ray Pearce as the lead in that 4, but it's actually Ben Twist, obviously.
Ben Twist is skipping.
Skipping, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'd just like to acknowledge a few people there. We've got Johnny Thane there, hooked in from the sunny coast. Welcome, John. Watching from Thailand, Paul Craig. Welcome, mate. Chris Leatherbarrow. He's not sure what he wants to watch. Pierce or Sheriff, Wilson or Sheriff. We'll sort it out for you, mate. We know we need cameras on the head, and we know we would like it if the competitors weren't stood in front of the cameras, but it's a teething problem, and yeah, we don't want to upset anybody. We're not going to go down there and throw our weight around. We're just trying to do our best here. We've got Patricia Rowland Alsop. Hi Sharon, all the way from England. Janie Bush up on the sunny coast. Clint Bailey, get back to work. We've got Mark Penne, or Pin. He's hooked in from Hamilton in New Zealand. Turles is watching. We'll get him down here later on. David Wilkes, the greens do look fantastic, and you're right, mate, and that comes from an expert greenkeeper. Good on you, mate.
It's one thing being a member here at Tweed Heads, that's one thing you can be sure of. The greens are always perfect here. Great team of greenkeepers here at Tweed Heads.
Nice comment there from Scott Thorogood. Thanks, happy to be watching bowls. Thanks, gents. Good on you, mate. Thanks for your understanding there. Sandra Bruce, who's a J fan. Janie Bush, lawman will sort it tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be doing our best, mate. We've got Law Kwok Phi, hooked in from Singapore. Welcome online, mate. All right, bring you an update here. After 42 ends, we have Queensland on 35, and somebody in front of the New South Wales score. We'll give you that as soon as they move from the head. See, we have these problems as well. 39. So we've got 35-39 in New South Wales' favour after 42 ends. Over on the ladies, after 41 ends, we've got Queensland on 37 and New South Wales on 36. So we're a bit of a cliffhanger on both those, really. I don't think conditions have got any worse, but they certainly haven't got any better. I guess these are the times when you could do with a drone over the green. As soon as we can find one without a noise, we'll probably introduce it. Okay, we've taken on board a lot of your comments there, and obviously the constructive ones. We'll have a meeting after this this game here. Hopefully we've got a few more helpers here tomorrow. And I know there's plenty of people around, but it's not everybody who wants to get involved, as you know. Finding volunteers is one of the toughest things in bowls.
Interesting little comment just came in there, Alan. Kelsey Cottrell's watching.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I thought she was playing.
She's doing both, obviously.
Ah.
I think maybe hubby is logged in using her account.
Let us know.
Or one of the the beautiful little girl they've got there. No doubt she would be up to speed now on using the Apple phone. Brad Clark has tuned in. Lindsay's other half. Hello, Clarky. I hope you're enjoying the coverage. We're doing our best here at the moment. It's trying conditions, and as Alan has alluded to, we are down on a number of personnel. So I can tell you now that both Lindsay and Kelsey are going head to head, as they've done on numerous occasions over the years, and no one's giving an inch. There's plenty of shots being played, and this one's really going to come down to the wire. New South Wales, Kelsey's currently 18-13 up, so she's got the upper hand right now, but there's still plenty of ends to bring that back, so it's going to be interesting to see the end result there. Karen Murphy is still dominating Bolivia Milrick's rink. She's 13-9 up on 13, so Karen's rink is still dominating there, and the tussle of Chloe Stewart and Natasha Scott, well, that's sort of come back together a little bit. Chloe's still holding the lead there, 15-11 on 14, so with plenty of ends to go. Things are still and well and truly in everybody's court. Now, as far as the men are concerned, the Queensland men have made a bit of a comeback here. They're currently 2 shots behind New South Wales on 44 ends. So this is really coming down to a major tussle. Karen Murphy's just won the mat and decided to go ditch to ditch, which is one of Karen's trait, to change things up, back herself and her team, which are full of Cabramatta players. They know when they win the mat what Karen's going to do, whether she's going to drag the mat up short and play close to the ditch, or on blustery, horrible days like this, she's asked for it to be thrown ditch to ditch, but I'm afraid to say the lead has thrown it. The wind has actually taken it from the centre line all the way out of bounds. So that means that the mat then goes over to Queensland, who originally didn't throw it long enough to bring the mat up. They're going to play super short, about 22-23 by the looks of it. That was Cass. Cass has gone pretty close to the line, so she's brought it right up to the line because the jack's on the tee. So it'll be an interesting end. It's the first real short end we've seen from any of the ladies' rinks, so that'll be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, just check the shirts, blowing off the backs. Lawn bowls to you. Thank you for your comment there. Free service and yet still complaints get made. Just got to wonder at times. Thanks, mate. That's heartwarming for us to hear here, and as we struggle through what has been a difficult day up to now, but we will continue to sort. Kim Lee, we'll get back to you as soon as we can on the under 25s. We pop down there from time to time, and we'll try to get you an update. Shani O'Toole, hi from Tweed. Are you here? Or are you at home? Come on, say hello. Cheers, buddy. Brandon Hill, g'day to you too, buddy.
Yeah, Ty, be interested to run a cable wire and a camera. We've thought about that over occasions, but getting a club to allow us to string a high tensile wire with electricity and everything else that's involved across a green was looked at for the Commonwealth Games, wasn't allowed. So to keep the costs down, just to run a standard tournament with the ABC or any of those guys was about $27,000 to $37,000. Currently here we're doing it on a shoestring budget, so we're quite happy to take any donations. Anyone that wants to throw some money our way, we're quite happy to put that in the coffers and put it completely towards equipment. We'll even name the camera after you if you want to buy a camera or a tripod. Anyone out there who thinks there may be a tripod, we could throw the money, we'll buy a tripod and we'll name it after you. So anybody out there with money to throw our way to improve the system, that would be great. We'd take it on board, wouldn't we, Al?
Absolutely, Michael. I love your work. We are still waiting on our new cameras. I think we're only days away, are we? Greg, Bobby?
Sure how long it's going to be.
Okay. We're still waiting on those. We are waiting on some equipment and some software. We're doing the best we can, as we say.
So any positive comments out there, that we'd love to hear them. If you want to ask about a particular player or we can get some information for you, we'd certainly like to bring that to you. There's numerous little tidbits out there about certain players. If you know something funny about someone's nickname or why they got that nickname, or you want to ask why certain players got a nickname, we'll over the 2 days see if we can find out what that is. I certainly know that I know a couple of the ladies, you'd know a couple of the men's nicknames out there. Nathan Rice being Lurch.
Lurch, yeah. I do have a few profiles here, just the recent wins. On the New South Wales side, we don't want to show too much bias towards our home state, do we, mate? Anyway, Benny Twist, as we said earlier, he's 28 years old. He started his bowls at Pine Rivers. His current club is St John's Park. Type of bowls he uses, a Taylor Redline SR, size 4. And his top 5 achievements in bowls in recent times: Hong Kong Classic singles and pairs, winner. Multinational fours, gold medal, triples, silver medal. World under 25 singles, gold medal, and mixed pairs, gold medal. State singles, pairs, triples and fours winners. Asia Pacific Merdeka singles, gold medal fours, gold medal in fours and singles, that is. And his sporting hero is Kevin Durant and Roger Federer. A lot of people are huge fans of Roger Federer. And his other hobbies are watching sport, movies and travel. Good on you, Benny Twist.
Comes from an illustrious line in the lawn bowl scene. Benny Twist, his dad was a very good player.
Excellent player. Worst delivery in Australia, yes. But he did it the same every single time. And we've chuckled about that many a time. But what a prolific winner. Jeffrey Twist, g'day from us here, mate. Yep. Ray Pearce, now then, is there a man who's done and won more than this guy in the last year or two? Recently voted the Player of the Year in New South Wales, just the last few days. He started his bowls at Alexander Erskineville. and his mum introduced him to twilight bowls after school. So all you people out there who don't play, or you know somebody who doesn't play, get them down to twilight. Let's see if we can get another Ray Pearce on the green. His current club is Cabramatta. He uses Aero Optima, and he's won 4 New South Wales singles titles, the Australian singles, and he made his Australian debut not too long ago, and his number's 141. And once again, his footing hero is Roger Federer. He likes playing poker, and he's a Rabbitohs fan. Well, somebody has to be.
Yes, no, they're out there and they're passionate.
I'll get that in the neck.
But there again, some people follow the Roosters
And the Titans, thank goodness, we're going to have a great year this year.
Going to have a great year. There's
Absolutely.
a bit of a mix up there, so that's good.
Now the granddaddy of the day here is Nathan Dawson, Waratah. He started with a mate and his dad at age 13 at Curry Cannons. He uses the Aero Optimas. He's obviously currently in the stateside playing today, and was some little while ago out for a few years for whatever reason. It wasn't because he was playing bad, I can assure you, because I came across him a few times and got on the end of a couple of beltings. Runner-up in the state champion, the champion singles. He's won all zone championships, Newcastle City Master singles twice, and the great Darby Ross singles. Darby Ross, one of our former internationals, New South Wales stalwarts, won that 7 times. Wally Lewis, and once again Roger Federer. Loves the golf, the darts, snooker, beach, and spending time with his 3 kids. Don't we love the darts? Jane Bush is showing us a question. Question from Jane Bush there up on the Sunshine Coast. Hello to Jane. Hope you're having a good time up there. She wants to know how Disco got his nickname. I might be wrong, but I think it's because of his dancing prowess. Haven't seen it, but I've seen him dancing on the green. It wouldn't have anything to do with his eyes darting from side to side when he's staring the ball down as it goes down the green? Could be. I'm thinking so. We'll find out. We'll dig deep there, Jane. Yeah, we'll go with that. Jesse Nerona, 27 years old, Albion Park. Played with his brothers one day and never looked back. Warilla Bowls, he plays with the Henselite XGs. Played in the Welsh Tens Nations pairs gold medal just last year. Won the fours gold medal. Hong Kong singles gold medal, and yes he did, yeah, he won the pairs as well, and that was back in 2017. Helensvale National five-a-side winners in 2010, 2015, 2016. And he loves Jonathan Thurston. Who doesn't? What a man. Loves golf and the gym. I'll give you one more and give you a break from some of the profiles. But Mason Lewis, 22 years old, and I think he just won the most improved player. I did watch him play the final of the state singles, and I think that was against Ray Pearce. I think he only went down with 2 or 3 shots, if my memory serves me right. And it'll probably come up here in his profile, but I'm pretty sure he won the New South Wales under-25s singles. Glenbrook Bowling Club, his granddad introduced him. Engadine Bowling Club. He plays with XGs. Yeah, here we go. State singles runner-up, state fours winner, state under-25s winner, Pike Beach winner, zone titles. Loves golf, fitness, and the beach, and I think Roger Federer is on the payroll. He likes him too. All right. FedEx Express. We'll have a break from them. And if you've got any dirt on any of these superstars, feel free. Keep it clean. Yeah, so it'd be good to hear what other people have heard along the tracks, or we'll take rumours, we'll take anything on board, as long as it's don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. As long as it puts a smile on everyone's face. We're trying to smile here, believe me folks, we're trying to smile. It is rather difficult when we don't have the control of the cameras that we currently got out there as well as we should, and in the very near future we'll be able to pan and
and use these cameras to look around players, and also have a mobile camera out there as well. We just don't have the personnel, but once we get the new equipment, those type of things will be available to us, and I'm sure everyone's going to be very happy with the result. There was one nickname used to be that was there was Lindsay Armitage at the time, LA, now Lindsay Clark. Everyone wondered why they called her Snoozy.
And why?
Well, Lindsay had a tendency not wanting to ever get out of bed, so when she was away at camp and she had to get up to do training, Lindsay was always the last one out. She always had that little bit of extra sleep, so called her Snoozy. She's had numerous nicknames, Little Fish, all sorts of things. But LA is what I call her, because that's how I originally met her. LA.
In LA?
Been to LA as well.
All right, okay.
Yes.
Well, they're just flicking the board. 48 ends, men's Queensland 41, New South Wales 44.
Ladies are still haven't completed an end since I updated on the screen, Facebook screening here, but they're still locked at 43 all on 47 ends. Chloe Stewart has just played a bomb in front of her home crowd. She's just come down and rolled the shot bowl out of Natasha Scott's. Natasha had drawn the shot, and Chloe's just come down and laid it out for two, and Natasha's about to play her last bowl. So if Queensland can hold two here, it would be very helpful. And Natasha's just gone slightly through the hole there, so that's a pick up for Queensland of two, taking them to 45 against New South Wales 43 on 47 ends.
And on that particular rink, Queensland now lead 19. 11.
2011.
2011.
So, yes, Chloe's doing a great job here. Her team, with a couple of other players here from Tweed Heads, which are really relishing in the conditions. Realistically, they're used to the gusts going across the green at the other end, so they definitely have an advantage. But the other teams are certainly finding themselves a little bit wanting on some ends and frustrating on others. Lindsay's just, for instance, put a bowl down here that probably copped two gusts on the way down and nearly walked its way out of bounds, but finally came back to within about 1.5 meters of the jack. So it is very difficult, Alan.
It is. Actually, would you know your own wind at your own club? I mean, is there such a thing as an advantage knowing your own wind?
I think there is. I think they know every time they're standing on the mat down this end, it's nice and quiet, they're not getting the gusts. If you're used to playing here all the time, you know by the flags that the way you let it go, how it's going to react a little bit more, how much extra you're going to have to put on it. There's a lot of bowls coming up there very short because they're out there pushing into the wind.
Yep, bouncing off the clubhouse.
Yep.
Running around the corner of the clubhouse. Yeah, there is certainly an advantage playing on your home green.
Kurt Brown, New South Wales. We'll keep jumping from side to side because we're getting a few people asking how each different rink is going. So we'll just keep just scanning across here and giving you some updates as we go. But Kurt Brown's rink over there against Razor is Kurt's currently 8 and New South Wales is 20 on 15 ends. So they've still got a fair bit to do there. The team for Queensland. There's experience in that side when you look at Kurt Brown and Brett Wilkie, and the new inclusion of the great and ever-present Tongi. So the boys there are trying their best. The next ring next to them is Queensland 15 and New South Wales 9. Now that's the rink that now has Jamie Anderson back in it. I've watched a few of Jamie's bowls go down. He's certainly putting his best foot forward. Nuggets played some telling shots, so there's a lot of good bowls being played out there at the moment. Bakes has certainly made his presence known. So they're 15-9, and on the rink next to them, 18-15, a very close game, but Queensland up again, helping to cover the rink of Brown. So we don't have a lot on the screen here, and I can't change the camera.
You mentioned the Tongster there, Stephen Tong, making his debut here today, and wow, he's been playing for over 20 years. So for him not to make the stateside after, well, I think he's won as a skip the Premier League best performed for about 3 years on the run, and he's currently running, I don't know, probably 5th, 6th, 7th, and just been given a message here. It sounds very important. Your check is in the mail. Okay.
Yeah, everyone was sort of, a lot of players out there that people speak about, you know, that have won state titles or Australian titles, whether they should be included inside. There's always going to be conjecture on who's in, who's out. Obviously, there's only so many players that can go in. Same thing happens in the Australian side. You know, they're going out there picking 6 players to go and represent Australia. It's a difficult task.
How'd you like that job of being the state selector?
I'd have you in, Alan.
Or an Australian selector?
Oh,
How'd you like that job?
Again, I'd have you in. You'd be straight into the side.
Oh, you'd have me? Yeah, right.
We've got... Andy and Libby are watching from Hell's Gate Roadhouse at the bottom of the Gulf of Carpentaria, 41 degrees at the moment. So welcome aboard, Andy and Libby. I hope you're enjoying it. We're trying our best here, the limited resources we have on board. We've put a call out for anyone else that would like to donate the funds for us to get better equipment, but as yet I've just zapped through the comments, and there has been no changes to our bank account for the district, but we certainly do have new equipment coming on board, and I jest about that, but we do have some automatic cameras coming on board which will allow us to pan and zoom, which will certainly improve the coverage. Kelsey Cottrell's rinks just made a bit of a move on Lindsay Armitage. It's now 24-13, so they've had a pick up in the last couple ends after 18 ends, taking the New South Wales girls to a lead of 49-45 on 50 ends. The game between Karen Murphy and Bolivia has now come back. There's only 2 shots in it, with Karen holding a 2-shot lead over Bolivia on 16 ends. Chloe Stewart is still 2011, playing her last bowl. Pretty important bowl in the scope of things right here for Chloe. She's got a minefield to try and get through, so she'll have to bring all her skills and talents to the fore here to try and get in for another shot.
Just like to acknowledge Tracy Green there. We're very happy to have you on board as well, from the Tweed Heads Bowls Club. Welcome to you and all bowlers around Australia who hooked in with us. Greg Keft is watching, Stan Meal is watching, Jake Ryan, Andrew Howie, Trish and Bernie Webster from up the sunny coast, Greg Cronin, Shane Knotts, Michael Birmingham, Errol Milstead, Kim Lee. What about the boys under 25s, please? Well, you timed that pretty well, Kim. Under 25 men's, Queensland 24, wait for it, New South Wales 40. No, that's after 33 ends. And if you're interested, Kim, we got the girls, ladies. Queensland 24, New South Wales 41 after 31 of the 42 ends. So, looking very good for New South Wales there. You'd be very happy with that, Kim. Ron Keating's watching.
We've had a commitment from Luke Day, Alan Law.
Yeah.
Now Luke's come on board with us. He's taken up the calls, and once he wins Lotto tonight, he's assured us that he'll send some money our way. He hasn't actually committed to how much money he'll send our way.
Or it's to us individually, or to the cause?
Well, he didn't mention you.
Okay.
He did mention that he'll send money your way, Keegs. Oh, and
Lorna.
Oh, see, that's what happens when you don't pan up.
That's 50-50?
50-50, and we'll give Luke some out of that.
Yeah.
Shout him a drink.
Cool.
Good on you, Lukey.
Lukey Day does a great job with the Players Association. Wish him well on the way, unfortunately, when the PBA kicks off here down at Tweed Heads in the not too distant future. I haven't got the dates in front of me, but if you're not registered to play with the in the singles and pairs, the World Indoor Singles Pairs, etc., etc. There's about 4 tournaments played all over a couple of days. If you've never played in it, you don't know what you're missing. If you know anybody who has played in it, I'm sure they'll tell you. Good on you, Luke.
There's about 4 hats blowing off heads down there in that last 30 seconds. So it is definitely, it's difficult when you see everyone scurrying to try and keep their hats on their heads.
Gee, that miso soup is good, mate. Lubricate those tonsils.
Nugget's a bit tight there. Had great weight. He's been playing some sensational bowls. Sean Ingham, he's been a great player for Broadbeach. He's leading in the skips there in the Premier League. He's a great skip, I can tell you. I just won the fours with Sean Ingham. I got very lucky, Alan. I came back from hip surgery, and I was lucky enough to slide into a fairly competent side.
Super sub.
And of Sean Ingham, Ryan Bester, and Barry Gilbert. So
you've got to slum sometimes.
Sometimes you just got to go in there and dig deep to help the side over the line.
As you do.
Yes, it wasn't difficult at all. They are just unbelievable to play with.
Sean's just won himself the district player of the Gold Coast. The best district player of the Gold Coast. I think that was the. He hasn't won. It wasn't the. It was the district rep player of 2018-19. Because I think did Kurt Brown win the player of the district? And that was based on.
Max Jeffrey.
Max Jeffrey
pulled that one off.
He did too. He just pipped Kurt. That's right.
I think he pulled on the purple jacket, or what jacket did they get?
Well, he won the pairs, and he was semi-finalist in the singles, so that'd get him over the line.
Yeah, well, the great thing about Max getting that is he gets a free entry into the Blue Opal.
Wow, good one.
Very prestigious tournament held at the the venue of the Commonwealth Games, beautiful downtown Broadbeach.
How much is that worth this year?
The Blue Opals, dollar-wise, is
65,000.
64,000.
64,000.
It's like the $64,000 question.
Wow.
Who's going to win the Blue Opal?
Who's going to win it?
There's some real talent in there. The names that are coming in, it's a great lead-up event for anyone that's coming to watch the Australian Open or even playing the Australian Open. Do yourself a favour. Come a week early. There's some great events up here on the beautiful Gold Coast. The greens will be in scintillating form, no matter which club you go and play at. But there's a lot of clubs holding events the week before. Great way to tune up before the AA. So do yourself a favour, get there, play in some of these events, and watch some of the best games and players you'll see, not only in Australia but in the world. We've got world-class bowlers turning up to play in the Blue Opal at Broadbeach. So get yourself along and don't miss any of the action.
Out at Mudgery Bar, if you get hold of Fiona on the telephone at the club, there's the 1 Bowl Fours, which is played just before the end of the Australian Open. So for those who don't quite make it all the way, it's a very popular event, and it fills out every year. So you'd have to get in early if you're not playing in the Australian Fours, or in the Australian Open, should I say. And if you are, just get on the phone as soon as you're not.
Yeah, big shout out to Club Manly. They've gone and thrown us up on the big screen. So big shout out to the guys there. Thanks, Tony, for throwing us up on there. That's great.
Just a bit of info there. Tony Donda's running the Brisbane singles out of Manly this year.
Big event.
$25,000
Yeah.
in prize money. Good on you, Tony, and Manly.
Great to see that type of thing come back up. You know, we used to have the Salisbury singles, and we used to have a lot of these bigger singles events, and they've gone by the wayside. But Tony and Manly have really taken it on board to try and bring those prestigious events back, which is great to see. And you know, we can only take our hats off and appreciate the fact that these guys are having a dig and trying to support bowls at the higher level. And when these big money events are played, sponsors come on board. They see that it's worthwhile. They see other people are committed to supporting it, and I can only say I hope it's a raving success. And I know that there's a number of players changing calendars and doing whatever they can to see whether they can get involved in that event.
Yeah, good on you there, Tony. I did get your flyer, and given the chance, I'll be there playing. I'm sure you're going to get a really star-studded field there. Just keep it going, mate. Keep pushing, and we'll keep pushing. Anytime we get a chance to promote it for you, we'd be more than happy to do that. And anybody out there, if you've got a major event, I mean, we don't want to know about your turkey triples or anything like that at this stage on this medium, but certainly if you've got a big event coming up, please, you know, just put a line on there and maybe a contact, and we're more than happy to for you to get some benefit out of it, because we're all about promoting bowls, aren't we all? Talking about promoting bowls, I'd like to just mention the sponsors once again. I've mentioned them once before, but different people hooking in at different times, and people coming and going. Obviously some people got to get back to work, other people have lunches and dinners and kids to pick up from school, so here we go. Bowls Queensland are proudly sponsored by Mullins Lawyers, BCIB Insurance Brokers, Queensland Government, Henselite is the choice of champions, Club Super, and Nanda Mitsubishi. We thank you people for sponsoring our great game, and it's often said we wouldn't be a sport at the level that we're at without sponsors, and yeah, you can't just take that for granted. Anytime you get a chance to support a sponsor, do it.
Just do a quick run across the boards here, Alan, as the men are now coming to the close of their match, Queensland, New South Wales. So if we just quickly have a bit of a browse across the rinks there. The rink of Sheriff. Omar is currently leading 21-16 on 20. The next rink, very hard to see some of the times, some of these rinks, but they're on their last end. The overall for Queensland men, 52, New South Wales 45 on 55 ends. We've got the rink there of Brown. Just trying to see where they're up to. They've got a few ends to go. They're on 17 ends with 11-20. Can't see too many people standing in the road at the boards there. So Kurt Brown, Ray Pearce, 2011 on 17. We've got Nathan Rice against Benny Twist. That's Nathan is 20 and Twist is 9. They're on 16 ends. And Sheriff and Wilson, 21 to Sheriff, 16 to Wilson on 20 ends. So New South Wales at the moment sitting in the box seat, but as we can see there's only 7 shots in it, and as we all know that can be easily evaporated across the 3 rinks. Now with the ladies have played 54 ends. New South Wales currently holding a lead of 53 to 45. So it's still anybody's business there, same as the men, only 8 shots in it. So we've got Natasha Scott playing Chloe Stewart's team, and Chloe is currently 20-13 on 18 ends against Natasha. Karen Murphy 14, Olivia Milrick 12 on 16 ends. Pretty close head they've got happening there, so it'll be interesting to see the shot that's played there by Bolivia. Kelsey is 25-13 over Lindsay Clark, and Kelsey's just missed picking up the jack there, leaving Queensland holding 2 on Lindsay's rink, with Lindsay to play another bowl. So we'll stay with that rink just for a second to see what the end result will be. Lindsay's just drawing down here. Played a pretty good shot here. Just touched the jack a little. Probably moved a little bit too far to the left, but still 2 shots to to Queensland. So that brings that to 25-15. So 10-shot difference after 20 ends, 1 end to play.
Going back to our sponsor here, Niagara. If anybody is interested in contacting them regarding the health products, live on the green at niagara.com.au. They'll arrange to bring the product out to you. You can have a free demonstration. You'll also go into a draw to win $10,000. They are great supporters of our district and bowls in general, and thank you, Craig.
Karen Murphy's having a little bit of a dig at the head here. She's down a few numbers. She's cut a bowl sideways onto the jack. The result of that being is that 1 to Queensland. Queensland were holding a couple there, so that sort of cut that back a little bit. So there's only 1 shot in it now. That rink of Bolivia has certainly come back against the team of Murphy. So it's a pretty good comeback for them. Final score. Rink 4's finished. Now rink 4 was the rink of Sheriff and Wilson. So Omar and Disco. Cool. And after 21 ends, it was 21 all.
Wow.
So can't get any closer than that, Alan.
Nope. That's the ultimate.
Lurch has just played a bomb to pick up a shot there. Another great shot from Lurch. He's played some really telling running shots at the moment. So Lurch is sitting there waiting for Twisty to come back and play a shot. I watched Twisty a number of times over in Hong Kong, and he won that event numerous times. He's a prolific winner on the international circuit, Benny Twist. Great player, has a great attitude with bowls. So he's got a big shot here to play. If he can dislodge this shot shot bowl of Nathan Rice's.
He's under
He
the
hasn't.
head.
He's under the head. So 1 to Queensland. Now to give you an update, we didn't have the camera work on the rink of Disco and Aaron Sheriff. And Aaron Sheriff at the time, the last time we reported, was up a number of shots on Disco. And Disco's picked up a 5 on the last end to get a draw.
Wow.
So at this level to pick up a 5 it's a hard task, but
And the score on the major board now is 53 Queensland, New South Wales 51 on 58 ends.
yes, it's really coming down to the wire. So the rink of Bryce really needs to keep its ascendancy on twist. And on the other side of things, New South Wales, Pearce is trying to do exactly the same thing with Brown. So it's really going to come down to that battle.
We'd like to be able to get you an update on the under 25s. Unfortunately, we don't have the manpower here, but given the chance, we'll certainly give you the results before we sign off. Yeah, bear with us. We'd like to be able to get those results to you. They are on another green, just for your information. They're down the far end, and we're locked in the corner up here.
Why can't we switch hands? Don't know.
Switch hands. Huggett's had a bit of a look at what he needs to accomplish on this end. He's walked back, he's had a feel for the shot, so it'll be interesting to watch Huggett put this bowl down. And a bit of pressure on both those teams over there with the scoreboard, a 2-shot difference, Queensland 53, New South Wales 51. So Sean Ingham on the mat. Just let it go there, watching it on the way through. Comes where just turning a little bit for him, and a lovely shot played under the conditions here at Tweed Heads. So Carl Hill, he's played his bowl. New South Wales looks like they're holding at least one in the head there.
Rink one's coming off. Well done. Is that ball correct at this stage? 51,
Yes.
53 on 58.
Yeah. So the final result was Kelsey getting up over Lindsay. So New South Wales 25, Queensland 16 on 21 ends on rink one. Kay Moran's watching. Hey Kay, great little Scottish international there. All round good girl.
Won a couple of Australian titles too, I believe.
Oh, Kay's always in the mix, and she's a real fighter, Kay Moran, that's for sure. She's played a lot of games for New South Wales before she went back to take up the gauntlet for Scotland. So that she'll be still playing for New South Wales, I have no doubt, if she hadn't have done that. But when your country calls, it's time to take up the arms.
Especially if you're Scottish.
Yes. Well, Nathan and Nugget have obviously come up with a plan of attack on this head. Looks like Nathan's going to be playing down on his forehand here, which is the tighter side of the rink. A delivery we've all got to know on Love of Nathan's. He's pretty close to the mark. Nugget's got pretty keen. We can't see it. He's jumped in the road and played a sensational bowl. Little toucher. Just waiting for it to fall. It may fall into the breeze. So a great, another great bowl played there by Lurch, as we all lovingly know him. Benny Twist on the mat, that little jig that he has, he's let the ball go. Benny Twist is, depending on the weight, he's holding up to that front bowl. Could get a result out of this, has. Looks like New South Wales may have rolled out. We can't really tell, the shadows jumping over the top on us. Can you see that head at all over there?
I can't see that, no. But I can see Jay Dawes just drawn two pretty close bowls there to give Kurt Brown a bit of a start there.
Yeah, Jay Dawes really come to the fore there from the Sunshine Coast. He's the only representative we've really got from the sunny coast here in the men. He's went out and won the state singles last year, represented himself very, very well. Great composure to do that. And since then has been kicking goals up there on the sunny coast. So all the best to Jay Dawes.
And a nice young fella to boot.
Oh, he's a sensational young man. I played bowls with Jay when he was a junior. He led in our rink. His dad, Joe's a very good bowler as well. So I've known Jay since he was a very young lad. And he's always been a terrific young man. And he's got a good head on his shoulders. And hopefully he'll really push forward his credentials here at this and get to maybe playing the Australian sides, which would be terrific for him as well as terrific for the Sunshine Coast. Benny Twist is, Benny Twist.
A look of disappointment there.
Yeah, he's very, very close. He's only a whisker out of it. Nolene Dutton is watching at the moment. Good afternoon, Duck. Hope you're having a great day. That cheer we've just heard is Natasha Scott. She's just played a big bowl. One of her, as we've all known, Natasha doesn't mind having a run at the head, and why wouldn't you when 99% of the time she gets it? And she's played the bowl to pick up a 5, so that certainly puts her back in. At the time she was 22-13 down against Chloe Stewart, so that will bring her right up into the close the rank there to 22-18 in favour of Chloe, bringing New South Wales to a lead of 58-51 on 59 ends.
Just about sealed.
Pretty much so, unless Bolivia's Rink, who has a couple ends further to go, can pull something out of the bag here. I'd say New South Wales are starting to hold their hands around the first test. Karen's just got a number of high fives from her Cabramatta teammates. Men are still close. The men are sitting over there at 54-51 in favour of Queensland. It's a very tight head on the rink of Carl Healy and Nathan Bryce. Damn. I've been talking too much, Alan.
Yeah, well, we get paid big money for that, mate. That's why I'm hoarse. Did you see the jack come back down there?
Yeah, I saw the jack come back where Sean Ingham indicated we're one down. That was a fairly good shot there played by Jamie. Who drew the shot? Was it Tongi who's drawn the shot with the jack bouncing forward?
I don't think so. I think that was... Oh, well, it must be. Yeah, New South Wales bowl's coming down now.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, this is the 19th end for them, isn't it? It's very difficult to call the head from here, really, isn't it?
Yes. We don't have access to that camera over there, so... Olivia just dropped a 5 against Karen Murphy to be now 19-13 behind. So both New South Wales rinks on the last 2 ends for the ladies have picked up 5, so 10 shots and 2 ends. So the score there now has blown out to 63 to New South Wales, 51 to Queensland on 60 ends. So it's nearly a foregone conclusion over there.
It would have to be a huge turnaround, wouldn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And especially at this level.
Still only 3 shots in it in the men. They've just completed the end. Queensland picked up that end. Brown's team picked up the shots on that end.
55-51 Queensland on 59.
Wow. Look at that bowl going down the green.
Yes.
It just... I looked at the bowl and thought, wow, he's miscued, but then I looked up and had a look at the flags, and the flags, instead of being sideways, were blowing straight at him, so it's really taken the bowl and turned it over on its bias.
Gives you heart, doesn't it?
yeah. Claire Turley just played a lovely bowl in there. Her 2 young girls are on the sideline, have turned up from school and given mum a clap. So coming out of the Wayne Turley stable and Claire Duke.
And only one of them's wearing a blue jersey.
And only one of them's wearing a blue jersey. There you go.
Yeah, we can't get Wayne into a maroon jersey. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, she won't. I don't think he'll turn turtles. I think.
You'd have to peel him.
Yeah, I think he'll always be a blue.
Good on him. Yeah, well, Claire was born in Victoria, if I remember right, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, it's not really state of origin, is it? Because if it
No.
was, Sean Baker would be playing for Northern Territory. Mark Casey would have played for Victoria.
Lurch would have played for Tasmania.
Yeah, Lurch would have played for Tasmania.
We can rebrand this, as we were talking about before, state of residency.
State of residence, yeah. Well, Claire was Victorian.
Yep.
New South Wales. Now Queensland. So she's definitely going to put in every camp.
Another tripod.
Another tripod, yes. Oh dear. You've got to find another word for that. Alex Murtaugh. Over 60 soon for turtles. I don't think he'll appreciate that too much there, Alex. He's a little while until he's 60. Not that there's anything wrong with turning 60, especially this year, Alex.
Alex. Yes, mate, everybody knows, they all know it's live streamed, and they just get carried away. Like you do, mate. We all know we get carried away when we're playing bowls, but hey, it is what it is. Thank you, Joy Bird. We are doing our best.
So New South Wales, Queensland men's is really going to come down the wire here. There's 4 shots in it. We've got a few ends to go, 3-4 ends to play. Every shot is absolutely crucial. I'm just watching Brett Wilkie stare a bowl down there. You can see that he's trying to, or hoping it was going to come back. A lot of these players are virtually trying to steer their bowls into the head. Still some lovely bowls being played, especially by the men's rink over there. Interesting little roll here. Who's got it? We're not sure what the score's gone here.
New South Wales won the
New
end.
South Wales has won the end.
How many?
I think it was only one. Yeah,
Well, they
50,
weren't jumping up and down, were they?
No, 55, 52 on 60. So they're playing their last end now. So the last end is now being played by.
And that scores 22-12
Yeah. So.
on 20 ends.
Yep. Michael Sorensen's jumped on board. Hollywood is, he was affectionately known by some.
I gave him that nickname.
You gave him that nickname?
I gave him that nickname.
Did you really?
Yeah, I
So
sure
we have
did.
you to blame?
Yeah.
Really?
And what's more, he loves it.
He does love it.
Doesn't he?
I remember how proud he was when he first walked into the New South Bowls Club with Hollywood written on his bowls bag.
Yeah, when we played out at Paradise Point.
And we said to him,
early days in
what
the
the hell are you doing with that written on your bag? He said, that's my name. Very good player.
I gave a few nicknames out back in the day. Mark Casey, Hammer, that one stuck.
Yes, that definitely stuck.
There's a few others that I gave out, but they didn't stick. Thank God.
I had one for you up at Coolum Beach, but I could tell that story.
Go on.
What that story about you in the car park?
Oh, staggers.
Yes. From one gutter to the other.
No, it was medication, mate.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Anyway, what was you doing out at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Helping you get home. That's what I was doing.
As you do.
Yes. Chris wanted to know the Omar and Disco rink. The final score on that rink was 21 all. So basically no result. They went out, played all that time for no result.
What a waste.
What a waste of time. Can't understand why they would do that.
Oh, well, they're on big money.
Big Jimmy on the mat.
I'm going to try and get down to the under 25s and back before we sign off.
You're not leaving me all on my own.
You'll manage.
Jeez.
Talk to Hollywood.
I'll talk to myself. That's normal. Yeah, Big Jimmy's played some great bowls here today, so glad to have you on board, watching him from Scotland. So he's come back into the side and he's played pretty well. So that team currently is 22-10 up on 20. So they're certainly keeping Queensland well and truly in this game. The current score, I'll give you an update, after 61 ends is Queensland 56, New South Wales 52. Kurt Brown, Kurt's on his last end against Razor, so both teams are playing their last lot of bowls. Ian Miller, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're enjoying the coverage. We've tried to do our best here. We've been well and truly understaffed, and it's been a real challenge today. So hopefully we can change a few things around tomorrow, but we'll see where we end up. Chloe Stewart's watching, so she's come straight off the green, jumped on the live feed to watch some of the ends of the game. So did a great job out there, Chloe, to get up by a shot over Natasha. Tough opponent, always is. So two great teams, well done. So right now the New South Wales men are holding 2 shots. Razor's team over Kurt Brown. Tongi's just jumped on the Tongi in the mat. Yeah, Tongi's just jumped on the mat. Beautiful little shot here to get second shot. Kurt's pretty happy with that. Yeah, well, hopefully tomorrow the roving camera will be back on board. We're just out of personnel, guys. That's been the thing. There's really only been 3 or 4 of us here. to work everything today, and as you know, you need a few more hands on deck. So tomorrow, if we get a couple of more volunteers, we'll get the roving camera out there, give you a bit more action, be able to get into the heads a little bit better, and we can work it from there. But we have been let down a little bit today. We've had a couple of people sick, and another couple that couldn't get here. So it's been a tough day at the office for the crew that are here. But we've certainly tried our best, and we're sorry it hasn't lived up to your expectations, but we will definitely try to do a little better tomorrow and keep on improving. So hang with us, stay on board. We do accept your feedback. So right now, Queensland is holding one shot on the rink of Kurt Brown and Ray Pearce. It's but any touch on the shot bowl will result in a 3-shot turnaround to New South Wales. So it's very delicate over there on that rink on its last end. Benny Twist is just playing his last bowl. And Nathan Rice is Lurch has just let it go. He's not happy with the way he's let it go, but it's a pretty good shot for walking backwards away from it. Lurch's bad bowls is normally our good ones, so that's a great result from Lurch and his team to get up and win 24-10 on 21 ends. So great results there. Big Jimmy in the side. The ever-present Sean Ingham, Nugget as we all know him, and Jaden Christie, who's had a pretty good game in that rink as well. And we probably haven't mentioned Jaden as much as we should have, but he definitely contributed to the game throughout. Oh, Lawman's back. My throat had gone.
Yeah, I'm just getting about that way myself.
I looked over. I was talking away, and you weren't there.
All right, the girls and the boys. The girls, New South Wales 46.
Under 25s.
Under 25s, yeah, 46-43. So a narrow victory there for New South Wales. And this one, well, we've got the rink wins on this one, so we'll work out what's what. Jacob Nelson was defeated with Jack Lewis 32-14, and Nick Gosley was beaten by Jay Bruce 25-14. So that's 28 Queensland and 57 to New South Wales. Quite convincing win for the New South Wales boys. And I've just been informed they're going to play the second test on this green as soon as this is finished and they've had something to eat.
The under 25s. The under 25s going out again.
Yeah, the men's. I'm not sure about the girls, but that's just what I got on the way through. And whether we're going to live stream it or not is yet to be decided. And my voice won't last much longer.
Yeah, well, we've just spoken to the producers of the show, and there's only so much live streaming we can do with what the equipment we've got. By the time we change it all around, it'd be very, very difficult. We want to set ourselves up for tomorrow, so we're going to spend some time organising tomorrow's schedule and the equipment, see if we can get some more bodies on board, so we can bring you a much better coverage tomorrow. So I think we'll all agree to concentrate on that.
And the final result there
in the
men's is on 63 ends completion.
Yes.
They're still flicking boards there, but it looks like 58, 50.
They're measuring for shots here.
2 at this stage with a score to go up. It looked like 1 to New South Wales.
2 to New South Wales. 55.
Okay, 58-55.
Well
What an
done,
exciting day at the office.
Well done, Queensland. So Queensland got up there, so the 58-55 in the men, and the ladies currently last end being played. But unless you can pick up 8 shots against a Karen Murphy, which I very much doubt it.
I don't think that would ever have been done.
And it still would remain 67, 52. If we picked up an 8, we still only get the 60. So New South Wales has won the ladies. It all comes down to basically who wins the rink. Karen Murphy's currently holding 20 to 14. It's been a hot, tiring day out here in the wind. I'm sure that all the guys will enjoy a rest tonight. They would be mentally exhausted.
Yep, it's not as easy as what people think. Thanks, David Baker. We've got thick skins here, and yes, we did cop the flak, and right, we'll keep trying. Thanks, Marie, Fiona.
What time's it on?
8:30, I think.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring the coverage to a close, we're going to close it off soon. We'd like to welcome you back on board at 8:30 tomorrow morning, same bat channel. We're going to make a ring around, see if we can pick up some personnel for tomorrow. We truly hopefully have those people on board so that we can bring you the coverage that we would like to present to you. But other than that, from myself and the lawman and the other volunteers here at Tweed Heads Bowls Club, we've certainly done our best, and we'll soldier on tomorrow, and hopefully you'll all be on board. So Michael Keegan, Alan Law, bye bye.
See you later. Bloody use there, mate. Yeah.
I had to pick my brother-in-law up. My brother-in-law played in New South Wales. 2 years shaving. In June, I've been trying to find out how. Bring the ball.
I couldn't have done that on my own.
It's tournaments.
I get weak anyway. And when I get weak, I lose my voice.
We probably just bring them in and roll them up. It's not that way.
You get a beer now, I suppose, right? Or do you want one of them?
I'll flip one of those to start with. Thanks, mate.
I'll have to be calling at the bottle shop to get my organic beer. Are we still on there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so all the gossip that we've just been going through, the viewers, yeah, of course. The result is there. It's just the final score.
Got to play it out.
We'll see if we can find out for you tomorrow the average age of the ladies' senior side or open side. But I'm having to guess that would be early 30s too. I remember at one stage the Australian team, the average age was 57, going back many years ago, of course.
Well, it's a little known fact that in the Commonwealth Games of 2010 that we were talking about earlier, the Australian lawn bowls team was the youngest representing team for Australia.
in any sport.
in any sport. So they're younger than the Australian cricket team, soccer team, hockey team, any other team, netball, the whole box and dice. Our representative teams of that year, Australian lawn bowls team was the youngest. That says something.
So out the window it goes. I wish I'd have took up that sport earlier. Sorry, too late.
Too late. Yeah, well, Julie's very lucky. She took it up late. Lucky to get the game she got, realistically.
How well was Julie when she stood up?
When she started. 2000. What are we at? 2018.
No, you don't have to give her age away. Don't worry, we'll pass. You could get in trouble.
I could get in a lot of trouble. So they can just go on the internet and check it out. Have you ever Googled your name, Alan?
No,
I Googled
probably
Julie's.
one word.
I Googled Julie's and then I couldn't find me anywhere.
All right, Robbie, is that us signed off? All right, if we're still on air, thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to Michael Keegan for saving the day. Thank you, Greg Robbie. Thank you, Les Ritzy. Thank you to Bryce Stewart.
Thank you, Alan Law.
And who else did we get in here? Craig, our sponsor from Niagara.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow.